Chapter 879. While everyone from Earth Spirit Hall was overjoyed, Zhao Feng charged toward the black-robed emperor instead of retreating. At that moment, Zhao Feng's sacred lightning body expanded once more and turned into a small giant. He circulated his blood devil sun bloodline and released a blinding blood-colored light. Ding, 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 boom. The white ripples of lightning didn't affect Zhao Feng's sacred lightning body at all. This black-robed emperor specialized in the Tao of lightning, which could trap normal emperors, but it was useless against Zhao Feng. How is this possible? The black-robed emperor realized that something was wrong. He found that Zhao Feng's body had a strong resistance against the Tao of lightning, and he could even absorb the power within it for himself. In the blink of an eye, boom. The wings of wind and lightning on the back of a small giant created a gust of wind and lightning, and the burst of speed made all the emperors present exclaim. After recultivating, Zhao Feng's wind-lightning technique had inherited the speed of the original wind-lightning inheritance. His body was even stronger, and with the help of the blood devil sun bloodline, his speed was even more terrifying. The black-robed emperor was caught off guard and was unable to dodge. He was hit by a ball of blazing blood-colored light, and explosions sounded. Illusion Maze Domain. When the attack arrived, a powerful Soul Tao domain ignored the restrictions of the small world and enveloped the emperor in black battle robes. Even the black-robed emperor's senses went into chaos, and he wasn't able to completely stop the Illusion Maze domain. Boom. What? The black-robed emperor was stunned as he was pushed back several hundred yards and spat out a mouthful of blood. A layer of blood-colored flames spread across his body as he was pushed back. A portion of his yuan qi and blood quickly disappeared, and his expression became ugly. The black-robed emperor was severely injured by Zhao Feng, and he immediately coughed out a mouthful of blood. How is this possible? The Earth Spirit Hall Void God Realm experts exclaimed in shock. Emperor Ling Qiong and the other kings and emperors from the 10,000 Sacred Clan were dazed. Blood Devil Sun. The perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline that surpassed the peak of the era. Above the sea of clouds, Tai Lydian, the emperor of the Tai family, revealed an expression of shock, excitement, and joy. The might of Zhao Feng's Blood Devil Sun bloodline was beyond imagination. Every time he launched an attack, he would ignite his target's entire body and burn their blood essence. What was even more unbelievable was that, every time Zhao Feng's Blood Devil Sun bloodline attacked at close range, he could absorb his opponent's life force. At this moment, not only did Zhao Feng's sacred lightning body and Blood Devil Sun bloodline not drop after unleashing their full power, but it became even stronger. Bathing in blood and fighting bravely, the more you fight, the braver you become. Such a bloodline born for battle cannot be allowed to die, let alone spread outside of the Tai family. Tai Lydian was extremely excited, and his body trembled. The Blood Devil Sun bloodline's explosive attacks were unparalleled, but its weakness was that it could not last long. However, with Zhao Feng's perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline, even if he was heavily injured, he could use his bloodline to attack and recover his yuan qi quickly. The foundation of the sacred lightning body, the explosive power of the Blood Devil Sun bloodline, and the speed of the wind lightning technique. Zhao Feng was like a winged Blood Devil Sun bloodline giant that stood proudly in the air. His cultivation technique and bloodline combined allowed him to unleash unparalleled battle power. He was able to severely injure an emperor just now, even if it was due to the element of surprise. The late stages of the 5th level of the sacred lightning body allowed Zhao Feng to dominate almost everyone at the Void God realm, and he could even fight against emperors head-on. The explosive power of the Blood Devil Sun bloodline and the burning, igniting, and sucking of life force allowed his battle power to explode endlessly. The speed, changes, and intent that the wind lightning technique brought was enough for Zhao Feng to move through the crowd of kings and emperors without fear. The heart of the black-robed emperor, who had been heavily injured, shook, and his battle intent disappeared by half. Stall him for a few breaths. The other emperors of Earth Spirit Hall recovered from their shock and surrounded Zhao Feng from different directions. The black-robed emperor also understood that he wouldn't be able to defeat this monstrous youth by himself. Die! The blazing sun giant that Zhao Feng had turned into created a gust of wind and lightning as he charged over with unavoidable speed. Boom! The powerful aura caused the black-robed emperor's blood to fluctuate and his body to become heavy. This pressure came from the sacred lightning body and the blood devil sun bloodline. It won't be that easy to kill me. The black-robed emperor snickered coldly. It wasn't a coincidence that any void god realm emperor had reached the peak of their soul and intent. Wang, the black-robed emperor, crossed his arms in front of his chest, and a bright white armor of lightning covered his body. White snakes of lightning several hundred yards long extended from him and blocked off Zhao Feng's path of attack. This strategy of attacking and defending was the best choice. Mockery appeared in the eyes of the blazing sun giant that Zhao Feng had turned into. Wherever he passed, the mountains and rivers would be flattened. The entangling white lightning snakes were directly smashed apart by his domineering physique and the power of the blazing flames. What a powerful offense! The illusion of a little world appeared behind the black-robed emperor, and he panicked as he retreated. Although Zhao Feng was quickly approaching, the black-robed emperor's goal was about to be achieved. He only needed to stall for a few breaths. Even if his injuries worsened, he still needed to stall for a few breaths. Right at this moment, the situation started to change. Mental energy spike. An invisible spike that looked like a cold purple crystal shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye and into the black-robed emperor's soul. The black-robed emperor screamed. The giant mental energy spike was condensed to the limit and became like a crystal. It was accompanied by an immortal and undying eye intent. In that instant, the black-robed emperor's soul was pierced through, and the power of the god Tribulation Lightning almost caused his soul to shatter. Several hundred wisps of god Tribulation Lightning auras suddenly flashed within Zhao Feng's purple soul sea. At this moment, the power of the god Tribulation Lightning he could use was close to what he needed to chase after the Emperor of Death. Boom! The next instant, the blazing sun giant that Zhao Feng had turned into slammed into the black-robed emperor. No! The other emperors that were approaching couldn't help but roar as they revealed expressions of unwillingness. However, at this moment, the black-robed emperor's soul was about to shatter, and his body was severely injured. He was instantly killed by Zhao Feng without any resistance. The fifth. An ordinary voice resounded throughout the entire arena. Emperor! A great emperor had fallen. Both sides fell into a dead silence. Waves of shock appeared in the hearts of everyone from the 10,000 sacred clan. The hearts of the void god realms from Earth Spirit Hall went cold, and a shadow of fear spread across their bodies. He started a massacre. Gu Chaoji's face was gray, and his body started to tremble. He didn't dare to participate in the pursuit of Zhao Feng. Back in Xieyang Palace, the other member of the purple-haired demonic duo, Nan Gongxing, had also started a massacre after being affected by the power of the evil god. At that time, Zhao Feng stopped the massacre. And now, the purple-haired demonic duo was even more mysterious. As the mastermind, he also started a merciless massacre. His targets this time weren't the new geniuses, but the kings and emperors of the older generation. Shua! The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back fluttered, and he left behind an afterimage as he easily threw off the emperors that were charging at him. Brat, don't even think about running. The golden-robed emperor, Zhang Xiandong and company, missed once again. On the other side, after Zhao Feng appeared, he could easily kill a normal king with a slash of his wings or a charge from his sacred lightning body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The youth with the wings of lightning could easily kill a void god realm expert every time he appeared. The number of void god realm experts from the Earth Spirit Hall was decreasing bit by bit. The entire situation was controlled by Zhao Feng. Apart from Zhang Xiandong, who didn't offend the peak emperor, Zhao Feng would kill all the other kings and emperors whenever he had the chance. In just the time it took to make tea, over half of the void god realm experts from Earth Spirit Hall had been killed by Zhao Feng. Among them, he had killed 16 void god realm kings, 2 emperors, and 1 was severely injured. Normal void god realm emperors could be instantly killed by Zhao Feng with his eye bloodline and god Tribulation Lightning. One of the heavily injured emperors only managed to survive because he had a powerful life-saving secret technique. Stop! The remaining emperors from Earth Spirit Hall, led by Zhang Xiandong, roared with bloodshot eyes. Apart from anger, there was also helplessness and pleading in their voices. The golden-robed emperor, Zhang Xiandong, ordered the remaining kings and emperors to gather together and form a defensive barrier. At this moment in time, Earth Spirit Hall didn't dare to think about killing Zhao Feng anymore. They were already lucky to be able to leave alive. It doesn't matter if you gather together or split up, you won't be able to escape from me. Zhao Feng floated in the air as his left eye contracted. He had expended a lot of energy from the continuous slaughter. Luckily, he had the Blood Devil Sun Bloodline's lifesteal ability. After saying this, Zhao Feng took out the sky-locking bow and locked onto a few targets within Earth Spirit Hall. If everyone from Earth Spirit Hall gathered together, Zhao Feng could use his sky-locking bow and his left eye to kill them one by one. If these people split up, it would be even easier for Zhao Feng to kill them one by one. As long as he left a mark of the God Eye on these people, Zhao Feng would be able to kill them one by one before they could escape back to the clan. Zhao Feng, you don't really want to slaughter these people, do you? Emperor Ling Qiong and company from the 10,000 Sacred Clan all took in cold breaths. The group that Earth Spirit Hall had sent out could already crush a 2-star force like the 10,000 Sacred Clan. However, they were completely helpless against Zhao Feng, and they were slaughtered one by one. He definitely has the ability to do so. Gu Chaoji's face was pale white, and his voice trembled within Earth Spirit Hall. In his impression, Nan Gongxing of the purple-haired demonic duo was extremely cruel and bloodthirsty. The other Zhao Feng was unfathomable and he rarely fought. He wasn't bloodthirsty either. However, when the leader of the purple-haired demonic duo started a massacre, Gu Chaoji finally understood what terror was. Zhao Feng's expression was calm throughout the entire process, as if nothing had happened. The mental pressure he exerted made the remaining kings and emperors of Earth Spirit Hall fall into despair. Chapter 880. In the air, the Void God Realm emperors and kings from Earth Spirit Hall had all gathered together. However, the remaining dozen or so people didn't feel safe at all. Their faces were filled with anger, fear, and fear. On the field, there was a stifling silence. Cold sweat appeared on the foreheads of the kings and emperors from Earth Spirit Hall. Many of them felt regret and despair. If they could go back to before Zhao Feng started his massacre, they would run as far away as they could. They wouldn't fight this nightmarish youth head-on. However, Zhao Feng had already started his massacre. Even if they ran in all directions, they wouldn't have a chance. At this point in time, no one doubted that Zhao Feng had the ability to do so. Zhao Feng, don't be rash. Killing all these people won't benefit you or the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Emperor Ling Qiong and the other Void God Realm upper echelon members of the 10,000 Sacred Clan felt uneasy and sweated. No matter what, Earth Spirit Hall was a 3-star superpower. One of the requirements to become a 3-star superpower was to have the power of a mystic light realm. These kings and emperors were just a portion of Earth Spirit Hall's forces. Zhao Feng held the sky-locking bow as his left eye locked onto the group from Earth Spirit Hall. His expression didn't change at all, but the killing intent radiating from his body didn't disappear. Zhao Feng wasn't like Nan Gongxing. He wasn't a bloodthirsty person. However, when his enemies wanted to kill him for his treasures, he wouldn't show any mercy. I've already killed half of them. Zhao Feng didn't care, and a cold purple light appeared in his left eye. The 3 emperors from the 10,000 Sacred Clan felt helpless. From beginning to end, the 10,000 Sacred Clan was dazed as they watched Zhao Feng slaughter the forces of Earth Spirit Hall by himself. Within the clan, the expressions of the disciples that were familiar with Zhao Feng, such as Kong Feiling, Huang Yunhu, Lu Tianfan, Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian, and company, changed dramatically. They felt like they were in a dream. Tell me, this isn't real. This isn't a dream? Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian, Lu Tianfan, and company, who were once enemies with Zhao Feng, shuddered. Their voices trembled as they spoke. As Zhao Feng spoke, the group from Earth Spirit Hall fell into despair. Yes, since he had already killed half of them, Zhao Feng wouldn't be stingy with the other half. Is there really no way to stop him? The golden-robed Emperor Zhang Xiandong felt helpless. As a peak emperor, he wasn't afraid of fighting Zhao Feng head-on, even if his chances of winning weren't high. The speed that Zhao Feng displayed were already at the level of emperors, so there was nothing he could do. Most emperors would find it hard to block Zhao Feng's left eye bloodline. However, the problem was, Zhao Feng would definitely kill all the other kings and great earths before attacking Zhang Xiandong, the strongest peak emperor. Emperor Zhang Hevi, left god, and Zhao. Spirit, Zhang, spirit realm, and Zhang. Zhao Feng was still a distance away from his peak, mainly in terms of his soul. Even so, if he went all out, he was confident he could kill an ordinary peak martial emperor within 100 moves. He's ridiculously powerful. Tai Lydian, who was above the clouds, took a deep breath. The perfect blood devil sun bloodline, a powerful lightning Dao body tempering technique, and a transcendent left eye bloodline. If this person can return to the Tai family, he will definitely become a supreme figure who will decide the fate of the continent zone in the future. However, Tai Lydian was not confident in convincing Zhao Feng to return to the Tai clan. With such terrifying strength and potential, even a mystic light realm sacred Lord Grand Elder of the Tai family would come personally to invite him. Just when everyone's hearts were hanging in suspense, whoosh, a majestic aura came from afar that suppressed normal great emperors. Even some peak great emperors were intimidated by it. In an instant, the various powers in the world fell into an indescribable throbbing stagnation. A dignified male voice resounded through the clouds, descending upon the soul and material planes at the same time. The people from both sides, including Tai Lydian, shuddered. Even Zhang Xiandong, who was a peak emperor, felt pressured. This aura had probably touched the level of a mystic light realm. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. The aura of this newcomer was shocking, and it wasn't any weaker than the Emperor of Death. In some aspects, it might even be stronger. If the owner of this aura came from Earth Spirit Hall, then things would become troublesome. However, at the same time, Zhao Feng felt that this aura was slightly familiar. Great. The golden-robed great emperor, Zhang Xiandong, revealed a look of delight as if he recognized the newcomer. At the same time, several thousand miles away, I hope I can make it in time. A dignified male wearing a luxurious golden robe gave off a dragon-like aura and the invisible draconic providence of the Lord dynasty. Wherever the dignified man went, the countless living beings in the territory of the dynasty instinctively prostrated themselves in worship. So, it's Duke Nanfeng. Zhao Feng's left eye bloodline was extremely far away, so he was able to recognize the newcomer. The ruler of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. No wonder he has such a powerful aura and Lord Dynasty providence. Tai Lydian from the Tai family finally understood. In terms of speed, Duke Nanfeng wasn't much slower than Zhao Feng, and he soon arrived at the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Good. Duke Nanfeng's gaze landed on Zhao Feng, and he let out a breath when he saw that the latter was safe. He had rushed over because he had received news that Zhao Feng was in danger and was surrounded by King Martial Emperors from Earth Spirit Hall. After hearing this news, he even stopped trying to break through to the mystic light realm and rushed over as fast as he could. After all, he owed Zhao Feng a favor, and he wouldn't be able to rest easy if Zhao Feng died. Furthermore, this might be a chance to repay the favor and rope in Zhao Feng. However, when Duke Nanfeng arrived at the 10,000 Sacred Clan, he felt that something was wrong. Zhao Feng was safe and held the sky-locking bow. His eyes were cold and calm as he looked at those from Earth Spirit Hall. On the other hand, those from Earth Spirit Hall all had expressions of fear and panic, and there were many injured emperors and kings. These kings and emperors gathered together and were uneasy. They didn't feel safe facing the purple-haired youth at all. Duke Nanfeng could even smell the tattered soul aura of a fallen void god realm. Duke Nanfeng, you came just in time. Come and save us. This madman has already slaughtered half of our void god realm experts, and he still wants to kill us all. The golden-robed emperor and two other emperors from Earth Spirit Hall exclaimed for help. The golden-robed emperor, Zhang Xiandong, seemed to know Duke Nanfeng, and their relationship seemed to be pretty good. Duke Nanfeng froze for a while as the kings and emperors from Earth Spirit Hall begged for help, and his expression seemed to choke with tears. "You are begging for help?" Duke Nanfeng's face twitched as his gaze swept over Earth Spirit Hall and landed on Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was expressionless, but killing intent flashed in his eyes. It was obvious that he was the stronger side. Those from the Earth Spirit Hall were shocked and terrified. They placed all their hopes of survival on Duke Nanfeng. "Duke Nanfeng, we've known each other for several hundred years. Help me stop this madman. I'll owe you a favor." The golden-robed emperor, Zhang Xiandong, said sincerely. Although he and Duke Nanfeng weren't very close, they were still quite familiar with each other. There were only a few peak emperors near the ocean, and they all knew each other. At this moment in time, everyone's gazes landed on Duke Nanfeng. Duke Nanfeng was a very important person. Firstly, he was the ruler of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Secondly, his strength was slightly stronger than normal peak emperors, and he had the providence of the Lord dynasty. No one doubted that Duke Nanfeng had the strength and qualifications to do so. "Brother Zhao, how long has it been since we last met? You've already killed so many king martial emperors from Earth Spirit Hall." Duke Nanfeng had a weird expression as he looked at Zhao Feng with a bitter smile. He originally wanted to save Zhao Feng, but he didn't expect to see such a scene. Who was the one that needed saving more? Duke Nanfeng. You know each other? The golden-robed emperor, Zhang Xiandong, and company were all stunned, and some of them even had sad expressions. After fighting for so long, they felt like a flood had rushed into the temple of the Dragon King. This outcome made Zhang Xiandong and company feel very uncomfortable. "Your Highness, you don't know. These people came to kill me first, so I started killing them. I even warned them before I attacked." Zhao Feng put away the sky-locking bow and said slowly. Hearing that, those from Earth Spirit Hall were speechless, and they were filled with regret. Before he attacked, Zhao Feng had warned them that he didn't want to start a massacre. However, these people felt disdain at that time. "Brother Zhao, can you give me some face and let them go for now? After this, I will invite you to my palace." Duke Nanfeng had a bitter expression as he sent a divine sense message. "Sure, but these people must promise not to offend the 10,000 sacred clan or be my enemy in the future." Zhao Feng nodded his head. He wasn't a bloodthirsty person, and he had already killed half of these people. The Tianfeng Great Island Zone was under Duke Nanfeng's control, so he should give him some face. Hearing that, those from Earth Spirit Hall felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted off their shoulders. "We can only promise ourselves. We can't represent the entire Earth Spirit Hall." Zhang Xiandong, the golden-robed emperor of Earth Spirit Hall, replied in a solemn tone. Although he was a peak emperor, he didn't have the absolute right to speak in Earth Spirit Hall. Zhao Feng understood that as long as these people could promise, it would be fine. Duke Nanfeng and the other experts of the 10,000 sacred clan were witnesses. Soon, the Earth Spirit Hall's sovereign martial emperors retreated in a sorry state. These sovereign martial emperors showed regret on their faces or intense dissatisfaction in their hearts. "Although we can't do anything to that Zhao Feng, and we promise not to become enemies with him again, we can't do anything to him. However, as long as the Mystic Light Realm Grand Elder comes out of seclusion, dealing with a small king will be easy." Many of the Earth Spirit Hall survivors were filled with resentment. Zhao Feng killed so many king martial emperors of Earth Spirit Hall. That Mystic Light Realm ancestor definitely won't forgive him after he comes out of seclusion. Gu Chaoji muttered in his heart. But for some reason, every time he thought of that youth, there would be an indescribable shadow of unease and fear in his heart. In the air above the 10,000 sacred clan, "It's time to leave." Zhao Feng's golden blue figure floated in the air and scanned the familiar and unfamiliar faces within the 10,000 sacred clan. Emperor Ling Qiong and company from the 10,000 sacred clan weren't surprised, and they let out a long breath. The 10,000 sacred clan definitely wouldn't be able to contain a dragon like Zhao Feng. Furthermore, the purple-haired demonic duo had offended so many super forces. A measly 2-star sect definitely wouldn't be able to protect them. The past Zhao Feng has already passed away. My name is Zhao Feng, and I am the left-eyed heavenly emperor of the Tsang Ocean. A clear voice sounded across heaven and earth. Chapter 881. The past Zhao Feng has already passed away. My name is Zhao Feng, and I am the left-eyed heavenly emperor of the Tsang Ocean. His voice sounded across heaven and earth and passed through the soul dimension. Within a radius of several thousand kilometers, countless intelligent beings, not just humans, could clearly understand the meaning of these words. Hearing this, the hearts of the experts present, including Emperor Ling Qiong and King Lu Yun from the 10,000 Sacred Clan, Duke Nanfeng, and Tai Lidian shook. Zhao Feng's voice was, without a doubt, a declaration to the outside world. He was announcing his true self. The original Zhao Feng had already passed away. Although he had inherited this body, the soul and intent were the true essence of a person. Zhao Feng didn't want to continue living under someone else's name and mission. Furthermore, his true identity was close to being exposed in a small circle. He couldn't keep it a secret for too long. So that's how it is. The elders and disciples of the 10,000 Sacred Clan that were familiar with Zhao Feng understood and sighed in their hearts with complex expressions. Thinking about it, it made sense. How could such a heaven-defying genius appear in the world? In just a short year, he had gone from a true spirit realm junior to a king and had the battle power to kill emperors. Now, many questions have been answered. Duke Nanfeng revealed an understanding expression. In the world of cultivation, it wasn't strange for someone at the Void God realm to steal someone else's body. Before, Zhao Feng and Princess Yuqing were very close. Duke Nanfeng had obviously sent people to investigate his identity since he was able to revive the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly at such a young age. The results of the investigation revealed that Zhao Feng was full of questions. But now, with the revelation of Zhao Feng's true identity, the truth was revealed. What's going on? Tai Litian's expression was apprehensive. This sudden turn of events had caught him off guard. Shua. Tai Litian waved his hand, and an old figure jumped out of the little world. It was Grandpa Zhao. Indeed. Grandpa Zhao smiled bitterly, and his expression was complicated. Feng was killed by the Yin clan. After his death, an almighty being from beyond the heavens took over his body. Then the Blood Devil Sun bloodline. Tai Litian's eyes shone brightly. What he cared about the most was the perfect Blood Devil Sun bloodline. Zhao Feng's life and death were secondary. The Blood Devil Sun family bloodline only appeared after he descended. Grandpa Zhao answered honestly. Before Zhao Feng's reincarnation, although his talent was decent, he didn't have such a powerful bloodline. When Tai Lidian heard this, he could not help but fall into deep thought. He suspected that something had happened after Zhao Feng's arrival that had awakened the latent bloodline in this body. It was even possible that Zhao Feng possessed some kind of secret technique that could awaken and evolve his bloodline. In fact, there were many living beings in the world that more or less had bloodline factors in their bodies. It was just that they were extremely thin or in a recessive state, and it was very likely that they would never awaken in their lifetime. This Zhao Feng stole someone else's body and came back to life. He must have been a peak emperor or even a mystic light realm sacred lord. Tai Lidian took a deep breath. Things had become complicated. Zhao Feng had come back to life through stealing someone else's body, so he didn't have a true sense of belonging to the Tai family or the Zhao family. In this situation, it would be even more difficult for him to return to the Tai family. Senior Martial Brother Guang Tian. Zhao Feng stood proudly in the air, but his eyes were locked onto a scared figure in the crowd below. Arg! Senior Martial Brother Guang Tian was so scared that his soul almost flew away, and he knelt on the ground. Zhao Feng snickered coldly and released a surge of magnificent power that covered Senior Martial Brother Guang Tian. My lord, spare me! Emperor Zhao, spare me! Senior Martial Brother Guang Tian couldn't fight back at all and was lifted into the air. No one from the 10,000 Sacred Clan dared to stop him. The expression of King Lu Qiong, Guang Tian's master, changed dramatically, but he didn't dare to make a sound. Zhao Feng's death was related to your collusion with the Yin family. As the new host of this body, I obviously won't let you go. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. Now that the truth had been revealed, the time was right. There were some things that Zhao Feng didn't need to be afraid of exposing them to the public and solving them together. Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian's face was pale white. Under Zhao Feng's intent, he couldn't even think of lying or arguing. Die! With a thought from Zhao Feng, Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian was crushed by the invisible magnificent power of heaven and earth. When one reached the Void God realm, their soul would change. Their soul would merge into the center of heaven and earth, and they would be able to use the power of heaven and earth with a thought. This was where the magnificent power of kings came from. Emperors had reached the peak of their soul, and they could use even more magnificent power. As for mystic light realm sacred lords, they were at an even higher level. Apparently, even their true yuan and life force in the physical dimension could be merged into the laws of heaven and earth. At that level, they could suppress all kinds of power in heaven and earth with just a thought. The physical dimension would leave the realm of mortals and approach the domain of gods. Of course, Zhao Feng only knew a little about this. The bee queen that he had met in Xieyang Palace had reached the level of a mystic light realm sacred lord, but it was a race that relied on reproduction to survive. It didn't have much battle power and didn't know how to use its own power. Boom! Under the shaking of the magnificent power, Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian was killed by Zhao Feng with a thought and turned into dust. Everyone below kings were ants. Even in the continent zone, Void God Realm kings were unreachable existences to billions of cultivators. Void God Realm kings were rare even in the normal regions of the continent zone. However, as Zhao Feng reached a higher level, the people and circles he would meet in the future would become more and more powerful. Plop, plop. Some members of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, such as Huang Yunhu, Wang Yuan, and company, suddenly knelt on the ground. Mercy! Emperor Zhao, mercy! These people had some enmity with Zhao Feng in the past, and they all pleaded guilty. No one in the 10,000 Sacred Clan could stop Zhao Feng from killing people. Putting aside normal members, Zhao Feng could even kill Void God Realm kings if he wanted to. Just now, when Zhao Feng killed Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian, his master, King Lu Qiong, didn't say anything and didn't dare to stop him. Although Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian was only an in-name disciple of a king, one could see how strong Zhao Feng was. The original Zhao Feng has passed away. From today onwards, I will leave the 10,000 Sacred Clan. An emotionless voice resounded across the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Zhao Feng didn't bother with Huang Yunhu and company. The enmity from before was just a small fight between disciples. He didn't put it to heart at all with his current status. Leave the 10,000 Sacred Clan. The hearts of everyone in the 10,000 Sacred Clan, from the outer disciples to the kings and emperors, shook. One had to say, it was a big loss for the 10,000 Sacred Clan for such an expert to leave the clan. However, only a small number of people in the 10,000 Sacred Clan could guess Zhao Feng's intentions. After the divine illusion dimension, the purple-haired demonic duo had offended many super forces. The tiny 10,000 Sacred Clan couldn't protect Zhao Feng at all. Although Zhao Feng's actions seemed heartless, he was actually drawing a line between himself and the 10,000 Sacred Clan so that they wouldn't be affected. This Zhao Feng cares about his friends and has his principles. However, the name Left-Eyed Heavenly Emperor sounds familiar. Duke Nanfeng had a praising expression as he started to think. The Tsang Ocean was relatively far away from the continent zone. There was also the Nanlin Sea in between. The name Left-Eyed Heavenly Emperor had only appeared in the Tsang Ocean a few years ago. Only a small number of people in the Nanlin Sea knew of this name. However, only a small number of people near the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, such as intelligence agencies, knew of this name. Zhao Feng, the 10,000 Sacred Clan won't keep you any longer. No matter what happens in the future, you were once a member of this clan. Old Monster Su's magnificent power projection floated in the air and sighed. This old Monster Su was originally a peak emperor of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, but he had failed to break through to the mystic light realm and was reaching the end of his lifespan. What he meant was that he hoped that Zhao Feng would be able to help him. With Zhao Feng's potential and fortune, his future would be limitless. If Zhao Feng reached an even higher level in the future, He hoped that Zhao Feng would take care of the 10,000 sacred clan. Spatial movement. A ripple of water suddenly appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye as it locked onto a certain forbidden ground within the 10,000 sacred clan. An old person sitting cross-legged within the forbidden ground suddenly realized that a small jade bottle had appeared in front of him. This old figure was Old Monster Su from the 10,000 sacred clan. He instinctively grabbed the small jade bottle, and he could faintly see the half-frozen multicolored liquid within. Your lifespan is reaching the end of your lifespan unless you break through to the mystic light realm. Since we're from the same clan, I'll give this bottle of 100 Origins sacred honey to you for now. A faint voice sounded next to Old Monster Su's ears. 100 Origins sacred honey. Old Monster Su's body started to tremble, and his face was filled with joy. The excitement in his heart was indescribable. Of course, this isn't just because we're from the same clan. If you manage to break through, I'll order you around 3 times in the future. Zhao Feng's voice continued to sound. No problem. As long as I can break through, you'll be my second parent. So what if you order me around 10 times or 30 times? Old Monster Su suppressed the excitement in his heart. He didn't even need to guess to know that the 100 Origins sacred honey definitely came from the divine illusion dimension. In an environment like the continent zone, it was almost impossible for such a precious holy elixir to appear. Just keep this promise in your heart. Zhao Feng's voice disappeared from Old Monster Su's ears. When one reached Old Monster Su's and Zhao Feng's level, any promise would have the same effect as swearing on their heart demons. Furthermore, Old Monster Su was making a promise when his lifespan was reaching the end. In the air above the 10,000 sacred clan, Zhao Feng's figure floated higher and higher as he said goodbye to the members of the 10,000 sacred clan. From this moment onwards, he would officially leave the 10,000 sacred clan. Adding on the fact that he had reincarnated, it was very unlikely that the other forces would chase after him in Duke Nanfeng's territory. On the other side, Duke Nanfeng and Tai Lidian couldn't help but feel expectant. Where would Zhao Feng go after leaving the 10,000 sacred clan? Duke Nanfeng had a smile on his face and was about to speak. Suddenly, a blazing red figure flashed over and arrived at Zhao Feng's side. Zhao Feng, please listen to me. Tai Lidian took in a deep breath and spoke before Duke Nanfeng could. Chapter 882. Zhao Feng, please listen to me. Tai Lidian spoke first and made Duke Nanfeng pause. Although he was slightly unhappy, he didn't show it. Duke Nanfeng also knew this great emperor of the Tai family. The Tai family was located in the northwestern part of the Great Gon Lord dynasty, and they were one of the main pillars against the Dark Moon Lord dynasty. What do you want? Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as he inspected Tai Lidian. Before this, he was in seclusion and didn't pay much attention to Tai Lidian. He didn't expect Tai Lidian to be so patient and wait near the 10,000 sacred clan. Zhao Feng, no matter who your true identity is, this body's bloodline comes from the Tai family. The bloodline of this body originates from the Tai family. Even your biological mother is still alive. It's hard to cut off this bloodline. Tai Lidian said in a sincere tone. Tai family's bloodline? Birth mother? Hearing that, Duke Nanfeng's face was filled with shock. Things seemed to have become complicated. He expected that Zhao Feng had taken over this body and reincarnated. Now that he had taken over this body, the truth would be revealed. What was unexpected was, the Tai family was ranked at the top of the 8 big families. Even the Great Gon Imperials had to give them some face. The Tai family was one of the top families among the 8 great families. Even the great Qian royal family had to show them some respect. According to what Duke Nanfeng knew, the Tai family was extremely strict when it came to controlling their bloodline. Under normal situations, it was extremely rare for their bloodline to be leaked out. Even if they did, they would be severely punished. Under normal circumstances, it was extremely rare for the bloodline to be passed on to outsiders. Even if there were, they would be severely punished. He always thought that his parents were dead and that he wouldn't be able to see them again. Grandpa Zhao bowed and said with a trembling voice. He looked at Tai Lidian calmly, "You want me to join the Tai family?" He looked at Tai Lidian calmly. "You want me to join the Tai clan? You want me to join the Tai family?" Tai Lydian was excited. This was the goal that he had come up with all kinds of methods to achieve. Zhao Feng, now that you've offended 9 Darkness Palace and other super forces, normal forces won't be able to protect you. However, if you join the Tai family, not many forces will dare to touch the disciples of the Tai family. Tai Lydian's voice was sonorous, and his tone was filled with great confidence. The Tai clan was famous for being powerful in the Great Qian dynasty. They were at least at the peak of a 3-star sect, and they were not afraid of fighting even a 4-star sect. If Zhao Feng joined the Tai family, he would indeed receive the greatest protection. Thank you for your kindness, but I already have a destination in mind. I can't join the Tai family. Zhao Feng shook his head without hesitation. Back in the true martial sacred land, Zhao Feng had once told his master, Duanmu Qing, and Zhao Yufei that he would go to the Duanmu family after confirming the fate of his fiancée, Lu Qingxin. Duanmu Qing, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit, and Zhao Yufei all wanted to revive the Duanmu family. Zhao Feng would also help without any reason. After all, the Purple Saint Partial Spirit and Duanmu Qing had helped Zhao Feng a lot back then. You actually, Tai Lydian's face was filled with disappointment and grief. However, in front of Zhao Feng and Duke Nanfeng he couldn't do anything. Tai Lydian and Duke Nanfeng were both surprised that Zhao Feng had a destination in the Lord dynasty. Duke Nanfeng thought that he had to investigate the left-eyed heavenly emperor Zhao Feng's identity. Although the Tsang Ocean was far away from the Lord dynasty, some intelligence agencies would definitely have news about the left-eyed heavenly emperor. I'm sorry. Zhao Feng was slightly regretful, and he paused for a moment before continuing, I'm no longer the original Zhao Feng. Everything that happened in the past will be cut in half. The moment he corrected himself, he had this intention. From now on, everything about the original Zhao Feng would be in the past. Cut in half. Tai Lydian shook his head and smiled as he watched Zhao Feng and Lu Qingxin leave. He murmured, Zhao Feng, you're thinking too simply. With the strict control the continent families have over their bloodline, how could the Tai family let the strongest bloodline go? Indeed. Zhao Feng's thoughts on this matter were very simple. The Lord dynasty, the Imperials, and the 8 big families all placed great importance on bloodlines. Zhao Feng and Duke Nanfeng flew away from the 10,000 sacred clan. Before they left, Zhao Feng gently waved his arm guard and left a spatial mark near the 10,000 sacred clan. With the misty spatial world, as long as Zhao Feng became stronger in the future, he would be able to instantly arrive here no matter how far he was. Zhao Feng, I'll need you to help me take care of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Duke Nanfeng had a grateful expression. Just a moment ago, Zhao Feng had agreed to go to Duke Nanfeng's palace through divine sense. Half a month ago, Duke Nanfeng's cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had recovered after being nurtured by a large amount of resources. It had just recovered not long ago. Duke Nanfeng impatiently told the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to secrete some origin pollen to help him break through to the mystic light realm. The origin pollen that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly secreted had a similar effect to the 100 origins sacred honey. It had a unique effect when forming a mystic light sacred body and merging the soul and body into one. Furthermore, the method to obtain this origin pollen was extremely strict. Each cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly could only secrete it 2 or 3 times in its life. Every time it secreted it, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly would be heavily injured. It's just a small effort. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. At this moment, he understood why Duke Nanfeng placed so much importance on the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was a bloodline race on the 10,000 ancient races. It was extremely old, had strong battle power, and had unique abilities. This was especially true for its support abilities. The cloud silkworm Saint Silk that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly spat out was extremely unique. It was a material used to create top-tier defensive armors. The main material of the cloud silkworm Saint Robe that Nan Gongsheng obtained from the divine illusion dimension was also the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's cloud silkworm Saint Silk. Zhao Feng, there are some things that I have to warn you about. Duke Nanfeng spoke on the way back. Please tell me, Duke, Zhao Feng said in surprise. You've killed so many kings and emperors from Earth Spirit Hall. Being a 3-star power, they have a strong foundation, and they have a mystic light realm sacred lord behind them. They probably won't let you go so easily. Duke Nanfeng warned in a solemn tone. 3-star powers had a very important status even in the Lord dynasty. They could at least influence the fate of an entire area. After all, there were too few 4-star powers. The number of 4-star powers didn't even exceed one's fingers. I understand. Zhao Feng's heart shook. He was already prepared for this. Zhao Feng knew how strong a 3-star power was. He had stayed in the 3-star Mystic True Sacred Clan before. No matter how strong Zhao Feng was, he was still at the Void God realm. Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lords were mostly in seclusion and weren't very interested in the matters of the world. However, once a Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lord interfered, they would suppress everything with their unrivaled aura. 3-star powers would wait for a Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lord to come out of seclusion to deal with some troublesome matters that peak emperors couldn't solve. In the past, the Wind Lightning Emperor and the Pirate Emperor both died to Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lords. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. The Wind Lightning Emperor was a peak emperor and was said to be the fastest emperor. The Pirate Emperor was an array grandmaster, and he had once excavated the secret dimension of the Heaven's Legacy City. These two legendary emperors were legends of an era, but they both died at the hands of a Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lord. From this, one could see that Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lords were basically unrivaled in the world. Even demigods were at the Mystic Light Realm, but they were closer to the Heavenly Divine Realm than normal Sacred Lords. However, Zhao Feng, you don't need to worry. As long as you stay in my palace, normal 3-star powers won't dare to do anything to you. Duke Nanfeng said with a faint smile. His identity was very noble, and he was brothers with the sacred emperor of the Great Gon Lord dynasty. Furthermore, Duke Nanfeng himself was very strong, and he had the providence of the Lord dynasty on him. He was half a step into the Mystic Light realm. This time, the reason Duke Nanfeng returned to the Duke's palace was to use the origin pollen of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to break through to the Mystic Light realm's sacred lord level. The weak cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly needed Zhao Feng's help to take care of it. Then I'll stay in the Duke's palace for a while. Zhao Feng made up his mind. It might not be the best time for him to go to the Duanmu family. Zhao Feng had heard about the Duanmu family's situation before. It was one of the declining families of the 8 big families. If it continued to decline, the Duanmu family might be removed from the 8 big families. Zhao Feng didn't worry. If he went there now, he would bring danger to the Duanmu family. An hour later, Zhao Feng and Duke Nanfeng arrived at the Duke's palace together. Greetings, Lord Duke. The two walked side by side in the palace, and greetings could be heard from time to time. Zhao Feng was used to this. A while later, Duke Nanfeng brought Zhao Feng to a hidden hall and took out a transparent porcelain bottle. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was like a lifelike jade that lay quietly within the bottle. Its aura was weak and it occasionally moved its wings. It was currently in deep sleep. Zhao Feng inspected it for a while. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was extremely weak this time, and its life force was extremely weak. If an ordinary beast tamer wanted to revive the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly, it would take several years at the very least, given that there was no limit to the resources in the manor. Meow meow. Zhao Feng swiped his arm, and the silver-gray little thieving cat appeared next to the bottle. Ding, ding. The little thieving cat waved its paws and knocked on the bottle a few times. Hoopa! The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly shook its fat body and wings as it opened its emerald-like eyes. In a flash, a terrifying aura that originated from the ancient era caused countless beings within a radius of 1,000 miles to instinctively tremble with unease in their bodies and bloodlines. Even someone as strong as Zhao Feng felt a lot of pressure. Once this cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly recovered to its peak, it would have battle power close to a mystic light realm sacred lord. It could be said that this cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was Duke Nanfeng's right-hand man. No wonder Duke Nanfeng needed to revive it as soon as possible. Once Duke Nanfeng became a sacred lord, with the help of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, his strength would increase by several times, and he would have a lot of power in the Great Gon Lord dynasty. If Duke doesn't need to worry, Then leave this Saint Butterfly to me. Zhao Feng said straightforwardly. Duke Nanfeng looked deeply at Zhao Feng. Under normal situations, he wouldn't be able to let someone else take care of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, but this youth in front of him was an exception. However, this young man before them was an exception. He seemed to have some sort of calming and convincing power. Thank you for your trust, Duke. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile as he put the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly into the misty spatial world. Meow. The little thieving cat also entered with him. Zhao Feng gave the little thieving cat the task of taking care of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Later that night, within Duke Nanfeng's underground palace in the Duke's palace, reporting to Duke, we found news regarding the left-eyed heavenly emperor in the Tsang Ocean. A king in black half knelt on the ground. His eyes were filled with shock, and his voice wasn't normal. Chapter 883. Far away in the center of the continent zone, in the royal family of the Great Gan dynasty, the majestic buildings were enveloped in the vast fortune of the dynasty. Within a side hall of one of the residences, Shua, a muscular youth with thick eyebrows floated into the side hall with an urgent expression. Luo Zun, what news do you have? The 8th prince sat in front of a table, and the faint undulation of true yuan from his body had reached the level of a peak-tier king. 2 months had passed since the end of the divine illusion dimension. During the battle in Xieyang Palace, the 3 princes teamed up and obtained a lot. They were also one of the winners. Luo Zun, one of the 8th prince's subordinates, obtained a spot in the divine illusion dimension, and his performance wasn't bad. 8th prince, according to the information from the Imperial Skynet, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon has indeed entered the continent zone. However, several demigods from the Grand Imperial Hall and Sky Suspension Palace are trying to chase after it and seal it. Luo Zun said in one breath. If this news were to spread to the outside world, it would definitely shock the world. Even if the sky falls, there's someone tall enough to hold it up. We don't need to worry about the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon. What about the purple-haired demonic duo? The 8th prince had a calm expression. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon and demigods were too far away for him. He would be scared and uneasy of the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon in Xieyang Palace. However, this was the continent zone, and there were many experts here. There would obviously be people who could take care of the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon. On the other hand, the purple-haired demonic duo was the biggest winner in Xieyang Palace. So many forces paid attention to them. I found out everything about the purple-haired demonic duo, Zhao Feng and Nan Gongxing. Luo Zun took a deep breath. In the royal family, he was not only the 8th prince's trusted aide and right-hand man, but the two of them were also close friends in private. Oh! The 8th prince revealed a look of interest. The purple-haired demonic duo was extremely strong, and Zhao Feng was the biggest mystery. The 8th prince couldn't see through him and even lost to him. Firstly, Zhao Feng and Nan Gongxing both come from the true martial sacred land of the distant Tsang Ocean. They come from the 3-star mystic true sacred clan. Luo Zun paused for a moment. The Ash-Gray Sea, true martial holy land? The 8th prince's eyebrows furrowed slightly. The Great Gan Imperials didn't have as much control over their territories as before. This was especially so for the Tsang Ocean, where the Great Qian dynasty could not reach. Currently, the greatest danger facing the Great Gan Imperials was the Dark Moon dynasty in the northwest. They might not even be able to handle it. Moreover, any 3-star sect in the world was not to be trifled with. Nan Gongxing was once the head disciple of the mystic true sacred clan. However, this Zhao Feng is the disciple of Duanmu Qing of the Duanmu clan. Luo Zun continued. That doesn't seem strange at all. With their strength, it's only natural for them to be the disciples of the great emperor. The 8th prince said. No. Luo Zun immediately shook his head. The point is that this Zhao Feng is the famous left-eyed heavenly lord. His name hasn't spread to the continent zone yet, but you should know about his nemesis, the Emperor of Death. Emperor of Death? The 8th prince fell into a brief recollection, and his expression suddenly became serious. He seemed to remember something about the Emperor of Death. The Emperor of Death who has the Eye of Death? Several thousand years ago, This person entered the continent zone and caused a storm of blood. Even some peak martial monarchs have been defeated by him. Qin Mu shook his head. The eighth prince's expression became solemn. Under normal circumstances, mystic light realm's sacred lords didn't care about the world. One could easily imagine how awe-inspiring the Death Emperor was when he entered the continent zone. He was invincible among the martial monarchs. Such a powerful existence is actually the nemesis of the left-eyed heavenly lord, Zhao Feng? The eighth prince found it hard to imagine that this immeasurable youth had hidden his strength so deeply. No. The Emperor of Death died at the hands of the left-eyed heavenly lord. Luo Xun added. "Sii." The eighth prince instantly took in a cold breath. Didn't that mean that the left-eyed heavenly lord was unrivaled against anyone below sacred lords at his peak? He might even be able to threaten sacred lords. So, our opponent is this strong. Looks like the forces we have right now won't be able to threaten the purple-haired demonic duo. The eighth prince let out a long sigh after a while. In the continent dynasties, peak great emperors basically stood at the peak of power. As for mystic light realm's sacred lords, they weren't people they could casually take action against since it affected the balance between the forces. Tianfeng Great Island Zone, within the underground palace of the Duke's Palace. The Emperor of Death's era was ended by the left-eyed heavenly lord. Zhao Feng, your background isn't just an ordinary person's. Duke Nanfeng let out a long breath with shock on his face. Duke Nanfeng knew a bit about the Emperor of Death. In that era, Duke Nanfeng hadn't been born yet, and he had only heard about it from the elders of his family. Duke Nanfeng thought back and suddenly thought of something. That's right, several thousand years ago, there seemed to be another powerful eye bloodline inheritance that appeared with the Emperor of Death. Duke Nanfeng asked. Yes, Your Highness. The king in black said respectfully, the other one was the Eyes of Samsara. That's right, the Eyes of Samsara. Back then, the Emperor of Death entered the continent zone and attracted the interest of the owner of the Eyes of Samsara. In the end, the Emperor of Death stopped here and retreated back to the Tsang Ocean. Duke Nanfeng remembered a legend from a long time ago. It could be said that was a battle between the Eyes of Samsara and the Eyes of Death. No one knew the process of that battle. However, after that, the Emperor of Death retreated back to the Tsang Ocean and never appeared in the continent zone again. Whether or not the owner of the Eyes of Samsara was in the continent zone was also a mystery. Left-eyed heavenly lord? Duke Nanfeng couldn't help but murmur, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline seems to be extremely mysterious and powerful. Could he be a descendant of a god eye to be able to defeat the Emperor of Death, who has the Eyes of Death? The 8 great god eyes were the peak of eye bloodlines in the world, and they were called the 8 great ancestors. In the current era, the descendants of the 8 great god eyes had the strongest eye bloodlines. Duke Nanfeng couldn't help but look forward to it. Would Zhao Feng's existence attract the interest of the owner of the Eyes of Samsara and make him appear again? The next day, within an elegant building in the Duke's Palace, Brother Zhao, why didn't you come and play with me after coming to the Duke's Palace? An elegant and beautiful girl pouted and tugged on Zhao Feng's sleeve, seemingly unwilling to let him go. Zhao Feng sat down cross-legged and couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly as he looked at Princess Yuqing. Princess Yuqing was filled with admiration for Zhao Feng, a young beast tamer with mysterious abilities. She even had an indescribable feeling for him. Brother Zhao, what did you experience in the divine illusion dimension? Father didn't even let me go in to play. That's right. Father gave the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to you for safekeeping. It's rare to see Father trust an outsider so much. Princess Yuqing asked all sorts of questions and chattered non-stop. At this moment, a dignified voice came out of nowhere. Yuqing, stop messing around. Duke Nanfeng appeared with a majestic, magnificent power and the power of providence. Princess Yuqing jumped up in fright. Her father had always loved her and rarely scolded her so harshly. Zhao Feng, Yuqing is a little girl and doesn't know much. I hope I didn't disturb you too much. Duke Nanfeng smiled faintly, but he was sweating in his heart. Thinking about how even the powerful Emperor of Death was killed by Zhao Feng, he felt respect and caution toward this youth. Yuqing is just too innocent. Duke, don't blame her. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. He could faintly feel that Duke Nanfeng's attitude towards him had become a little more cautious. Zhao Feng, I'm going into seclusion to try and break through to the mystic light realm. I hope that you can take good care of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly in the next few months. If you can also take care of the palace, that would be for the best, Duke Nanfeng said in a solemn tone. In reality, before Duke Nanfeng went into seclusion, he invited a few emperors to the Duke's palace. One of them was a peak emperor, and they were all trustworthy. Duke Nanfeng only mentioned it because he thought about Zhao Feng's identity as the left-eyed heavenly emperor. Since I'm in the mansion, I naturally have this responsibility. Zhao Feng paused for a moment before nodding his head. As long as he stayed in the Duke's palace, normal forces wouldn't dare to do anything to him in the open. From a certain perspective, he was also protected by the Duke's palace. After that, Duke Nanfeng then introduced Zhao Feng to the emperors in the Duke's palace. However, these emperors didn't know much about Zhao Feng, so they didn't put him to heart. Before entering seclusion, Duke Nanfeng warned Princess Yuqing not to disturb Zhao Feng. Yuqing, I know you like Zhao Feng. However, the two of you can't be together, Duke Nanfeng said harshly. Princess Yuqing cried and went to her mother to complain, but the answer she got was the same. At her age, it was normal for her to be confused and idolized for a moment. Several days later, Duke Nanfeng prepared everything and entered life and death seclusion. Zhao Feng found that the entire Duke's palace didn't have any contact with the outside world, and the atmosphere was extremely quiet. It was said that Princess Yuqing was forbidden from leaving. Zhao Feng could finally cultivate in peace and manage some of his own matters. Shua. Zhao Feng's consciousness entered the misty spatial world. The little thieving cat took care of many things in the misty spatial world's little world. Most of the resources and treasures he had obtained from the divine illusion dimension and Xie Yang Palace were planted in the misty spatial world. Zhao Feng first checked the situation of the 5 poison distinct bees. Over the past 2 months, the 5 poison distinct bees had grown rapidly with the help of the large amounts of flowers and herbs. Originally, the 5 poison distinct bees that Zhao Feng had enslaved included 3 bee kings, 100 elite bees, and a few hundred that were at least at the late-stage Great Origin Core realm. But now, one of the 3 bee kings had become an emperor. The remaining elite bees were comparable to half-step kings, and more than a dozen of them had become bee kings. One had to know, the 5 poison distinct bees had the ability to kill enemies stronger than them and take them down with them. If the king wasps launched a suicidal attack, it was very likely that they would die together with an emperor. As for the rest of the ordinary venomous bees, half of them had advanced to elite venomous bees. Very good, all the bees will become elite bees in less than half a year. At that time, there will be even more bee kings and bee emperors. Zhao Feng was satisfied. He had a large amount of resources, which was why he could increase the strength of the 5 poison distinct bees in such a short amount of time. If he was willing, Zhao Feng could also create his own force. Everything depended on whether he was willing or not and whether he had the time. Now that Zhao Feng had returned from the divine illusion dimension, there were too many things that he could improve in. Chapter 884. Within the misty spatial world, within the mountains and rivers, Zhao Feng checked on the growth of the 5 poison distinct bees and then the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was only the size of a thumb when it wasn't in battle. It was even smaller than the little thieving cat and was similar to the 5 poison distinct bees. However, Zhao Feng didn't dare to underestimate this butterfly at all. If it recovered to its peak state, the battle power and support of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly would be enough to cause trouble for mystic light realm's sacred lords. At this moment in time, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had just entered the misty spatial world, and its life force was extremely weak. It got along well with the little thieving cat. The little thieving cat had a unique talent. It seemed to have an incredible affinity with most life forms, including those with bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was no exception. It could communicate with the little thieving cat without any problems, and it would occasionally open its emerald eyes with surprise. Zhao Feng had his own thoughts on how to recover the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. Firstly, the dew from the ancient dream realm seemed to have a natural effect on the races with bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races. Secondly, there was the essence of life, including the pollen and honey that the 5 poison-distinct bees had gathered. Zhao Feng also symbolically gave some 100 origin honey to mix. Zhao Feng didn't plan on taking out the higher-tier 100 origins sacred honey yet. He hadn't even used it yet. If I give the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly a portion of 100 origins sacred honey, it might be able to become a mystic light realm sacred lord. At that time, Duke Nanfeng will be able to look down on the Lord dynasty with this help. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. However, he couldn't do this easily. Firstly, this was far more than what Duke Nanfeng had promised. Secondly, he hadn't known Duke Nanfeng for long, and their relationship hadn't reached the point where he could trust him completely. The situation in the Great Gan Lord dynasty was extremely complicated. It was hard to say whether Zhao Feng and Duke Nanfeng would be friends or enemies in the future. Therefore, what Zhao Feng had to do was fulfill his promise and the terms of the reward, so that the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly could fully recover in a short time. As long as Duke Nanfeng could break through to the mystic light realm, he would definitely have a place in the Great Gan Lord dynasty with the help of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. An hour later, in an elegant loft in the Duke's mansion, Zhao Feng withdrew his thoughts, closed his eyes, and began to meditate. Because his sacred lightning body and wind lightning technique had just broken through not long ago, Zhao Feng needed to consolidate them. Moreover, the Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body and the 5-elemental wind lightning technique had some decent secret techniques, but Zhao Feng hadn't finished cultivating them yet. The enhancement of physique and cultivation were all part of one's basic strength. In order to unleash the power of the cultivation method, some secret arts and battle skills were indispensable. Among them, after reaching the 5th level of the Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body, there were secret techniques such as the Sacred Lightning Dominating Fist, the Undying Sacred Lightning Body, and the Sacred Lightning Protection that could be cultivated. Holy Lightning Dominating Fist, an attack-type battle skill that can be cultivated at the 4th level. However, Zhao Feng didn't have much time in the Divine Illusion dimension, so he didn't have the time to cultivate many of these secret techniques. Undying Sacred Lightning Body. Once the Sacred Lightning Body reaches a certain level, one can cultivate an Undying Body. It needs to be cultivated over a long period of time, and it's hard to form quickly. For example, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had an undying body and could ignore normal damage. Only existences with strong bodies and undying bodies were hard to kill with the current power in heaven and earth, which was why they were sealed. According to what Zhao Feng knew, after reaching the 6th level of the Sacred Lightning Body, one could even cultivate the rebirth from Blood Drop. However, Zhao Feng didn't have a technique to go with it, but Demigod Kuan Yun did. Sacred Lightning Protection, a protective secret technique created by the Wind Lightning Technique and the Sacred Lightning Body. Its defense is extremely strong, and it has a strong resistance against Yuan Qi attacks. Zhao Feng estimated that if he could cultivate the Sacred Lightning Protection, he would be able to completely ignore attacks from anyone below the level of a Sacred Lord. Even Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lords wouldn't be able to kill him in a short amount of time. I should focus on cultivating the Sacred Lightning Dominating Fist and the Sacred Lightning Protection to increase my offense and defense. As for the Undying Sacred Lightning Body, I won't be able to cultivate it in a short amount of time. Zhao Feng made a decision in his heart. Of course, these secret arts and battle skills were just the more representative ones. There were many other abilities and methods in these 2 secret arts. Zhao Feng focused on the secret techniques related to the Sacred Lightning Body. As for the secret techniques within the Wind Lightning Technique, Zhao Feng had cultivated the Wind Lightning inheritance to a very high level, so he could use some of them without spending too much time on them. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month passed. Zhao Feng had basically comprehended and cultivated the Sacred Lightning Dominating Fist and the Sacred Lightning Protection. Among them, the Holy Lightning Protection was relatively simple. It merged the power of wind and lightning with the physical force of the Holy Lightning, forming a powerful protective lightning shield around the body. An ancient barrier of lightning suddenly formed around Zhao Feng's body. Golden lightning flashed as the sound of wind lightning boomed. This sacred lightning barrier wasn't a normal true Yuan defensive technique. It combined the sacred lightning physical force, which was even more domineering, and could reflect all sorts of attacks. If normal Void God realms were to attack Zhao Feng's sacred lightning protection, they would probably vomit blood and be severely injured. Its defense is very strong, but I can't test it out right now. The sacred lightning protection that covered Zhao Feng's body looked like a crystal-like armor of lightning, and it formed an all-encompassing defense. Then, Zhao Feng started to practice the sacred lightning dominating fist. In reality, Zhao Feng had seen the child demigod use this fist before, and its intent was extremely profound. Although Zhao Feng's intent wasn't bad, the difference between him and a demigod wasn't small. Therefore, he needed to comprehend this fist technique and circulate the 10,000 divine thoughts technique to simulate it in his mind. Luckily, Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye specialized in comprehension and analysis. Within the Duke's palace, Zhao Feng cultivated. Most of the time, the 10,000 divine thoughts technique split his thoughts into several parts. Zhao Feng spent more than a month on secret techniques. Then, his thoughts were once again focused on his cultivation and his soul. Within the dimension of his left eye, a black head floated at the edge of the purple soul sea, and faint lightning flashed on its surface. This god's tribulation head had been cultivated from his previous life until now. Now, Zhao Feng's emperor intent had mostly recovered, and he started to absorb the power of god tribulation lightning from the god's tribulation head again. Unknowingly, the aura of god tribulation lightning from the god's tribulation head started to decrease. I've already absorbed 30 to 40% of the power of god tribulation lightning from the god's tribulation head. There's still 50 to 60% left, but it won't last long. Zhao Feng thought. In order to comprehend the power of god tribulation lightning, it wasn't enough with just the power of god tribulation lightning from the god's tribulation head. On one hand, he needed Zhao Feng to comprehend it, and on the other hand, he needed to find another vessel for the god tribulation lightning. Some particles of the power of god tribulation lightning merged into the purple soul sea and were absorbed by it. Zhao Feng's 10,000 divine thoughts technique split off a part of his intent to absorb the power of god tribulation lightning and use it to refine his soul. At this moment, Zhao Feng's soul hadn't reached the void god realm yet, and it was lagging behind the recovery of his emperor intent. On the other hand, his emperor intent had almost recovered to the peak of his previous life after being cleansed by the god tribulation lightning. The amount of god tribulation lightning I've absorbed now exceeds that of my previous life. As long as my soul completely recovers, my overall strength will surpass that of my previous life. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he was full of expectation. Unfortunately, the amount of soul Dao treasures he had was limited. More than half of the power of Yin in the soul-suppressing stone had been refined. As Zhao Feng's emperor intent recovered, the power of Yin in the soul-suppressing stone was also used up. Of course, the soul-suppressing stone was a soul Dao item that could store all kinds of soul intent, and it could even be used to suppress powerful ghosts and gods. Half a month later, all the soul Dao treasures in Zhao Feng's misty spatial world had been used up. Most of them were just there to make up the numbers. Finally, Zhao Feng's soul had barely recovered to the level of an emperor. Within the dimension of his left eye, Zhao Feng's purple soul sea was around 800 to 900 yards wide. Although it wasn't as big as 1,000 yards in his previous life, it was slightly more condensed, and it had absorbed more god tribulation lightning. Zhao Feng let out a breath and murmured, "I've finally recovered most of my strength from my previous life." At this moment in time, although his cultivation wasn't as strong as the middle stage of the void god realm in his previous life, and the level of his soul was also slightly weaker, his overall strength had recovered. After all, Zhao Feng had cultivated the sacred lightning body, so his life force and body were extremely strong. Although his blood devil sun bloodline's defense wasn't as strong as the mystic ice-scaled race's bloodline, its explosiveness was stronger. All in all, Zhao Feng had recovered the strength of the left-eyed heavenly emperor at his peak. With this strength, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the Lord dynasty as long as he didn't offend any forbidden existences. In the Duke's mansion, inside a secret training room in an elegant pavilion, Zhao Feng spent most of his time cultivating the wind lightning technique and refining his sacred lightning body. At a certain moment, the crystal core in Zhao Feng's hand turned into a pile of dust. The King Wind Lightning crystal core that he had obtained from the divine illusion dimension had reached its end. Although the essence of wind lightning contained within the crystal core was even stronger than normal domain-level kings, it had to be refined repeatedly, so only a portion of it was absorbed. Zhao Feng's expression was the same as before as he continued to cultivate. Right now, the 7th level of the wind lightning technique was the wood of wind lightning. He had an ocean of wood-type resources. He also had some other resources that focused on the Tao of lightning. With the large amount of resources and the height of his emperor intent, Zhao Feng's cultivation speed was shocking. Late at night on this day, shua, 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 several figures with hidden auras appeared in the night outside the Duke's palace. I didn't think that Zhao Feng would have the battle power of a peak emperor, and he had reincarnated into this body. He's currently in the Duke's palace. Even if we have a chance of winning, we can't take action in the open. We can only plot in the dark. One could faintly see 4 males and 1 female in the night. The auras of these 4 males and 1 female were dim, as if they had turned into dim moonlight and merged into the night. It was impossible to detect them unless one was extremely close. The divine senses of several kings and emperors within the Duke's palace occasionally scanned over the area, but they didn't find anything. Chapter 885. There were 4 males and 1 female. Their auras were immeasurable, and they seemed to become a part of the night with a faint layer of moonlight around them. The source of the moonlight came from a female in dark green robes who was as calm as the moon. The woman in the dark green robe had a tranquil aura like a moonlit night. Her pretty face was cold and dignified. Compared to the demonic aura that faintly rose from the other 4 men, it was a little out of place. However, the leader of the 5 was a tall male wearing purple and black armor. His eyes were like a dark hole, and although he was purposely trying to hide it, black flames still appeared on his body. 9 Darkness Palace sent out 4 peak emperors to kill Zhao Feng. This demonic emperor Xian Luo is unrivaled amongst emperors and has fought against a sacred lord before. The woman in the dark green robe had a stern expression on her face. She was wary of the purple and black armored demonic emperor Xian Luo. On top of that, all 4 of them were peak emperors. By Qingyue. The black flames on demonic emperor Xian Luo's body flashed as his eyes locked onto the female in dark green robes. "Protector, what are your orders?" The female in dark green robes bowed slightly and maintained a respectful expression. Being the leader of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, you have information on the ocean and should know more about the Tianfeng Great Island Zone and the Duke's Palace than we do. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's voice seemed to come from a bottomless abyss. The female in dark green robes organized her thoughts and replied, Duke Nanfeng is currently in life and death seclusion in the Duke's Palace to break through to the mystic light realm. There are 3 emperors in the palace, and one of them is a peak emperor. They are all trusted subordinates of Duke Nanfeng. Our target has the strength of a peak emperor, and his speed is even faster than a peak emperor. Not bad, not bad. The other 3 peak emperors were an elder with a purple face, a middle-aged man with a black face, and a youth in black armor. They were very satisfied with this information. The 9 Darkness Palace that the 4 emperors were in was extremely far away from the ocean, and they weren't familiar with the place. Luckily, being the leader of a peak 3-star demonic Tao force, 9 Darkness Palace also had subordinates around the ocean. This subordinate force was the Ocean Smoke Pavilion that the black-robed woman, by Qingyue, was from. Then, when do you think is the best time for us to strike, and what are our chances of winning? Emperor Xian Luo seemed to be testing Bai Qingyue's loyalty. A trace of mockery and greed flashed through his eyes as he examined her calm and dignified face. Bai Qingyue felt very uncomfortable under his gaze, and her body went cold. She was a top great emperor lurking around the coast of the continent, but she felt a heavy pressure from Emperor Xian Luo. This pressure was close to that of a mystic light realm sacred lord. The only person we have to worry about in the Duke's palace is Duke Nanfeng. He's in seclusion right now, so it's the best time to attack. As long as we ambush or encircle Zhao Feng and prevent him from escaping, we have at least a 90% chance of capturing and killing him. After all, the left-eyed heavenly lord has just leveled up to the empty god realm and has yet to recover his peak strength. Bai Qingyue did not dare to delay and quickly analyzed. Her analysis was based on the large amount of information related to the Duke's mansion, so it was not wrong in terms of common sense. That's about right. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo took back his gaze and said emotionlessly, but right now isn't the best time to strike. What we're worried about isn't Duke Nanfeng but the Great Gan Imperials. More specifically, the Grand Imperial Hall. Hearing that, Bai Qingyue was slightly surprised. Right now wasn't the best time to strike? Did they have to wait until Duke Nanfeng reached the Mystic Light Realm? She obviously knew about the Grand Imperial Hall. It was a force that stood behind the Great Gan Imperials and was comparable to a 4-star power. Apparently, the members of the Grand Imperial Hall all came from the Great Gan Imperials, and most of them were past emperors. Although the Grand Imperial Hall didn't have many members, the core of the organization was at least a Mystic Light Realm sacred lord. I've tried to break through to the Mystic Light Realm as well. From his aura, I can tell that Duke Nanfeng hasn't reached the final stage yet. Although he's in seclusion right now, he can come out anytime if he's disturbed. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's voice made Bai Qingyue's heart go cold. Bai Qingyue's expression changed. She forgot that Demonic Emperor Xian Luo was an unrivaled existence amongst emperors and had broken through to the Mystic Light Realm many times. Emperor Xian Luo might be even more familiar with the steps to break through to the Mystic Light Realm than Duke Nanfeng. The best time is when Duke Nanfeng is about to break through. At that time, even if he knows that we're attacking Zhao Feng, he can't retreat or else he'll be severely injured. He'll be in a dilemma. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo laughed coldly. Hearing that, the other peak emperors of 9 Darkness Palace couldn't help but laugh wickedly. So that's how it is. Bai Qingyue nodded her head. If they attacked now, Duke Nanfeng might still stop them. After all, 9 Darkness Palace didn't dare to attack an important member of the Great Gan Imperials. Furthermore, Duke Nanfeng was strong, had the providence of the Lord Dynasty, and had the awakened cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. We just need to wait for half a month. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo raised his hand, and the group of 5 quickly disappeared into the depths of the night and increased the distance between them and the Duke's palace. Within the Duke's palace, the several emperors didn't notice anything. Duke Nanfeng was in seclusion, so his sense of the outside world was much lower. Within an elegant secret cultivation room within the Duke's palace, all of Zhao Feng's attention was focused on cultivating, so he didn't know anything about the outside world. Shua, shua. Zhao Feng flipped his hand, and some wood elemental resources appeared in front of him. He had a lot of them. As for the wind and lightning elemental resources, he didn't have much. However, Zhao Feng's emperor intent contained the laws of wind and lightning, so he didn't slack off in his cultivation. Over the past few days, Zhao Feng continued to cultivate the wind-lightning technique. Because he had a large amount of wood elemental resources such as the 100 Origin Nectar and the Green Water Sky Lotus, Zhao Feng's wood elemental wind-lightning progressed rapidly. Furthermore, the water of wind-lightning within Zhao Feng's body could also turn into wisps of wood elemental wind-lightning. Unknowingly, Zhao Feng's wind-lightning technique had broken through to the late stages of the 7th level, and it was still continuing. The 5 elemental wind-lightning technique's power will be more apparent as I progress to the later stages. When I open up all 5 elements of wind-lightning, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, no one in the Lord Dynasty will be a match for me. Zhao Feng couldn't help but look forward. Because of the wind-lightning inheritance from his previous life, his wind-lightning technique's cultivation progressed by leaps and bounds, and there were basically no bottlenecks. Of course, the support of large amounts of resources was also an important reason. Time slowly passed by. Zhao Feng used the 10,000 Divine Thoughts technique to split his thoughts into 3 and increase his comprehension in 3 different areas. The first was used to absorb the God Tribulation lightning and refine his soul. The second was to practice the wind lightning technique and sacred lightning body's secret techniques in his mind. The third was to cultivate the 5 elemental wind lightning technique in the physical dimension and increase his cultivation. In reality, there were too many things that Zhao Feng could improve in right now. Back in Xieyang Palace, he had obtained a large number of Xieyang techniques through junior martial brother Deng Chao of Sky's Suspension Palace. A small number of these Xieyang techniques could be compared to the Golden Kuan Sacred Lightning Body and the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning Technique. A small number of them were even slightly better than the Sacred Lightning Body and Wind Lightning Technique that Zhao Feng cultivated. These Xieyang books mainly focused on the wicked path, and although they weren't suitable for Zhao Feng, they increased his understanding of the world and his understanding of the world. If Zhao Feng could comprehend these Xieyang techniques, he could perfect and merge them into his own techniques in the future. He could even create his own techniques and secret techniques. However, right now, Zhao Feng needed to establish himself in the Great Gan Imperials and strengthen himself in other areas when he had free time in the future. In the blink of an eye, another half a month passed. At this point in time, Zhao Feng's soul had completely stabilized at the level of an emperor. It wasn't much different from his previous life. On the other hand, Zhao Feng's wind lightning technique was advancing at a godly speed, and his wood of wind lightning had almost reached the peak of the 7th level. His cultivation was just a sliver away from recovering to the middle stages of the void god realm in his previous life. However, after his sacred lightning body reached the late stages of the 5th level, his cultivation speed slowed down. Unless Zhao Feng was willing to use the 100 origin sacred honey, he wouldn't be able to increase his cultivation speed. I've been in the Duke's palace for more than 2 months now. Duke Nanfeng is almost at the final stage of breaking through to the mystic light realm. On this day, Zhao Feng suddenly opened his eyes. Before Duke Nanfeng went into seclusion, he had told him some things that were related to this. Since Zhao Feng was a guest at the Duke's palace, he was also one of the experts here, so he had to do his part. If Duke Nanfeng could break through to the mystic light realm, it would be more beneficial than harmful for Zhao Feng. This was because Zhao Feng was currently under the protection of the Duke's palace. Zhao Feng let out a long breath and split some of his attention from his cultivation state to observe the situation in the Duke's palace. At this moment in time, an invisible aura condensed in the air above the Duke's palace, and it made heaven and earth seem heavy and pressuring. The pressure from this aura started from the soul dimension, then started to affect the physical dimension. Finally, this aura passed through both the soul dimension and the physical dimension, and it seemed to be able to suppress everything. Zhao Feng felt that the yuan qi in heaven and earth had started to freeze, as if it was worshipping a saint. Even his wind lightning technique was greatly reduced. Zhao Feng had felt a similar aura from the Bee Queen in Xieyang Palace before. At a certain moment, boom. Heaven and earth shook above where Duke Nanfeng was in seclusion, and a ball of purple and gold light formed. It lit up the sky and started to twist into a giant purple and gold whirlpool. The souls of countless experts within the Duke's palace shook, and their true yuan and blood started to churn. At this point in time, all the servants below the half-step void god realm had been moved away. Otherwise, just a wisp of this aura could accidentally kill those at the true spirit realm or origin core realm. Within a small forest dozens of miles away from the Duke's palace, the disturbance of mystic light sacred power has appeared so quickly. Duke Nanfeng's breakthrough is going much smoother than I imagined. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo was slightly dazed. A forbidden aura that could suppress everything in heaven and earth appeared from the center of the Duke's palace. At this moment in time, with the Duke's mansion as the center, all kinds of powers within thousands of miles, including all kinds of mental and illusory powers, were inexplicably suppressed. The giant purple and gold whirlpool in the air above the Duke's palace was like a saint's light that caused the yuan qi in every direction to worship it. This is the best time. If we don't come out now, it'll be too late. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo revealed an urgent expression as he led the 4 peak emperors into the Duke's palace. Chapter 886. The twisting purple and gold whirlpool in the air above the Duke's palace released a holy light that lit up heaven and earth. The aura of a sacred lord that had almost reached the mystic light realm suppressed everything around the Duke's palace. The experts within the palace were unable to move due to the pressure. This suppression didn't just target the physical world. It also included intent, sword intent, and other illusory powers. In this situation, only a small number of Void God realm kings and emperors could barely control their own power. Looks like Duke Nanfeng's attempt to break through to the mystic light realm is going very smoothly. Zhao Feng walked out of the building he was in. He needed to observe and comprehend the process of breaking through to the mystic light realm. In reality, Zhao Feng wasn't the only one with this mentality. Some of the experts within the palace also had this mentality. This was especially true for emperors. They needed this chance even more. At this moment, the 3 Void God realm emperors within the Duke's palace also walked out. Duke Nanfeng was able to reach this step. The origin pollen of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly is very effective. If Duke Nanfeng can become a sacred lord, he will have a place in the Great Gon Lord dynasty, and his influence will increase dramatically. The 3 emperors consisted of 2 males and 1 female, and they all had smiles on their faces. One of them was a silver-haired elder, and his aura far surpassed normal emperors. He was a peak emperor. Before Duke Nanfeng went into seclusion, he had introduced these 3 emperors to Zhao Feng. However, these 3 emperors didn't put much importance on Zhao Feng, who had just become a Void God realm king. What aura is that? The silver-haired elder among the 3 martial emperors suddenly sensed something and looked in a certain direction. Zhao Feng, who had just walked out of the building, also sensed something. Zhao Feng suddenly felt 4 or 5 hidden auras approach as he stood in the courtyard in front of the building. Although these auras were purposely hidden, their true bodies were too strong and fast, so they couldn't be completely hidden. Most importantly, Duke Nanfeng was at the final stage of breaking through, and some of the experts within the palace had come out. A total of 4 or 5 powerful auras had already leapt into the Duke's manor. Zhao Feng and the silver-haired elder quickly scanned over with their divine sense. Their expressions changed dramatically. 5 great emperors. They seemed to be peak great emperors. The silver-haired elder shuddered. Zhao Feng's left eye contracted as he inspected the appearances and auras of the 4 men and 1 woman. 5 peak great emperors. Zhao Feng was also shocked. Ordinary 3-star sects would find it difficult to send out such a powerful lineup at once. Lord Protector, the location of Zhao Feng's closed-door training have been determined. The black-robed woman who was as quiet as the moon said respectfully, Zhao Feng, you won't be able to escape today. Bai Qingyue sighed in her heart. Her powerful divine sense scanned the entire Duke's manor and locked onto Zhao Feng's location. While she was planning this, her intelligence agency had already found out the location of the Duke's manor and even bribed a spy to confirm where Zhao Feng was staying. That was correct. That was why 5 peak great emperors were able to quickly lock onto Zhao Feng after entering the Duke's manor. Surround and kill that brat. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's deep voice seemed to come from the depths of hell. Instantly, the 5 peak emperors released their powerful auras without holding anything back, and they surrounded the building Zhao Feng was in from different directions. Although the Duke's manor was big, peak great emperors could only cover a distance of a dozen steps. Zhao Feng was in the palace and had nowhere to hide. Stop them! The 3 Void God realm emperors within the Duke's manor roared in anger. The silver-haired elder reacted the fastest and led another male and female emperor over to save Zhao Feng. This was because Duke Nanfeng had told Zhao Feng to get to know these 3. Now that Zhao Feng was in trouble, they had to help Duke Nanfeng since they had a good relationship with him. Enemy attack. Everyone be on guard. Protect His Highness and kill the enemy. The Void God realm kings within the Duke's manor also started to move. Luckily, the 5 peak great emperors weren't targeting Duke Nanfeng, who was in seclusion. Instead, they were targeting the guest of the Duke's manor. Apart from Duke Nanfeng and the little princess, kill everyone else within the Duke's manor. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo ordered coldly. As long as they didn't harm the important members of the Great Gon Imperials, killing Zhao Feng in front of everyone wouldn't cross the Imperials' bottom line. Just as they were about to, demonic Emperor Xian Luo and the other 4 great emperors successfully surrounded Zhao Feng. "Stay here." Right at this moment, the silver-haired elder led another male and female emperor over. These 3 emperors didn't need to defeat demonic Emperor Xian Luo and the other 4 great emperors. All they needed to do was create an opening for Zhao Feng to escape. With Zhao Feng's speed, even 5 peak great emperors wouldn't be able to catch up to him if he flew at full speed. "We can't leave an opening for Zhao Feng." Bai Qingyue's expression tightened. She knew Zhao Feng's strength like the back of her hand. Back then, the reason why Zhao Feng was able to slaughter the kings of Earth Spirit Hall was because of his speed and eye bloodline. If they wanted to kill Zhao Feng, they had to surround him so that he wouldn't be able to escape. In order to do that, they needed at least 4 peak great emperors to work together. "Let me." Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's expression darkened as he looked coldly at the silver-haired elder and the other 2 great emperors. Scorching demon giant spirit body. In that instant, demonic Emperor Xian Luo's body was bathed in a layer of black flames, and his body started to expand at a shocking rate. He even started to turn illusory as he turned into a flaming demonic sovereign that radiated a magnificent power of the demonic Tao. Boom! Half of the Duke's palace shook and was covered in a layer of dark demonic flames. This was because Duke Nanfeng was in the final stages of breaking through, and his mystic light sacred power suppressed over half of his power. "What?" The expressions of the silver-haired elder and the other 2 great emperors changed dramatically. They trembled in front of the flaming demonic sovereign, and they felt a sense of helplessness, as if they were facing an ancient demonic sovereign. "Fuck off!" The flaming demonic sovereign that demonic Emperor Xian Luo had turned into waved his hand, and a large flaming shadow swept across the silver-haired elder and the other 2 great emperors. Golden Yuan Sky Essence. The silver-haired elder at the front released a pillar of golden light that shot into the sky. It had a limitless power that seemed to be able to break through the 9 heavens. Next to him, the male and female great emperors also used their full strength in this moment of danger. However, when the shadow of the flaming hand arrived, the faces of the male and female great emperors went bright red, and they almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The pillar of golden light that the silver-haired elder unleashed was mercilessly torn apart, and the golden light around him dimmed by more than half as he was pushed back 100 yards. "Arg!" One of the beautiful female great emperors screamed as she was grabbed by the flaming hand. She was crushed into pieces and instantly turned to dust. Bam! The male great emperor wasn't a peak emperor, so he was sent flying by the flaming hand and spat out a mouthful of blood. In an instant, of the 3 emperors, 1 was killed, 1 was severely injured, and 1 was lightly injured. The expressions of the other kings that wanted to join in changed dramatically, and they froze on the spot. Being a peak emperor, the silver-haired elder was on par with the golden-robed Emperor Zhang Xiandong from the 10,000 Sacred Clan, and he was close to Duanmu Qing from the true martial sacred land. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo, it's you. The silver-haired elder wiped away the blood from his mouth as he retreated, and he was still in shock. His full power attack just now was nothing in front of demonic Emperor Xian Luo's sacred demon giant spirit body. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo was indeed worthy of being an unrivaled emperor. He had the ability to threaten mystic light realm's sacred lords. 5 peak emperors, and one of them is even slightly stronger than the Emperor of Death from back then. Zhao Feng couldn't contain the shock on his face as he stood in front of the building. The silver-haired elder's strength was close to his master, Duanmu Qing, from the true martial sacred land. In terms of strength, demonic Emperor Xian Luo might be able to suppress the Emperor of Death in a head-on clash, but that was a matter of life and death. In a one-on-one situation, even if Zhao Feng fought against demonic Emperor Xian Luo, the chances of him winning weren't high. Furthermore, there were 4 other peak emperors, and their combined strength would multiply the threat. At the same time that demonic Emperor Xian Luo attacked, Bai Qingyue and the other peak emperors had successfully surrounded Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, your companion, Nan Gongxing, slaughtered the elites of 9 Darkness Palace in Xieyang Palace. We'll hold you accountable today. Hee hee, I want to see the strength of the left-eyed heavenly emperor of the Tsang Ocean. Apart from Bai Qingyue, there was a purple-faced elder, a black-faced middle-aged man, and a black-armored youth. These three were all peak emperors of 9 Darkness Palace. Adding on Bai Qingyue, the 4 peak emperors surrounded Zhao Feng. Take down this brat within 3 breaths. The burning demon giant spirit body that demonic Emperor Xian Luo had turned into quickly closed in with a demonic aura that suppressed everyone present. The silver-haired elder and the other emperors within the Duke's palace had bitter expressions. They were powerless to change the current situation. Just demonic Emperor Xian Luo alone was enough to slaughter all of them. Seeing Zhao Feng surrounded by 4 peak emperors, they could only mourn in their hearts. 3 breaths? Zhao Feng stood in place, neither advancing nor retreating. He coldly snorted, "Good. I'll make sure none of you return alive." The youth laughed coldly with a hint of mockery, which made the hearts of Bai Qingyue and the other 3 emperors shake. Bai Qingyue felt slightly uneasy. She had analyzed Zhao Feng's information and knew a bit about this youth, including his situation in the divine illusion dimension. The silver-haired elder and company in the distance were also surprised. If it was any other emperor, they wouldn't be able to turn the situation around. Don't try to act mysterious. The black-faced middle-aged man and the black-armored youth pounced toward Zhao Feng from the left and right. With my current strength, it's impossible for me to be surrounded by 4 peak emperors and an unrivaled emperor, but... Zhao Feng stood where he was with an abnormally calm expression. Only to see. He reached out his hand, and a small jade-like silkworm appeared. Its chubby body was only the size of a thumb, and it flapped its half-transparent wings. This was the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly that had recovered most of its yuan qi. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly opened its mouth and spat out colorful silk that instantly pierced through the void and covered an area of a few thousand feet. Arg! What? The bodies of the 2 peak martial monarchs stiffened. They were the first to be entangled by the colorful silk. Cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. How can this Zhao Feng control the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly? Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder, 2 peak emperors, quickly dodged and retreated, but some of the silk still wrapped around their legs and slowed them down. Chapter 887. Whoosh 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 whoosh. The rainbow-colored silk that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly spat out was gorgeous and dense. It shot out at a shocking speed, catching the 2 peak great emperors off guard. Not good. It's actually the cloud silkworm immortal silk. The dark-faced middle-aged man and the black-armored youth who had attacked were tied up by the endless strands of silk. The silk was extremely tough, and it had a strange stickiness that made it hard to get rid of. In the blink of an eye, the 2 great emperors were bound by the cloud silkworm immortal silk and turned into 2 colorful dumplings. Boom! Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder were also affected, but they were far away from each other. They unleashed their full true yuan and pushed aside some of the silk that was close to them. In fact, Zhao Feng didn't expect to be able to restrain 4 peak emperors at once. If he did, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's silk would be weakened. His first step was to capture the 2 peak emperors close to him. He had achieved his goal. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's attack power isn't strong, but its support ability is extremely powerful. After the successful ambush, Zhao Feng felt relieved. If he could make the 2 peak martial emperors lose their ability to fight, the pressure on him would decrease. This is a little troublesome. This kid can actually control the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly. The purple-faced elder's expression became serious as he retreated. It was also because the 2 of them hadn't attacked first that they hadn't been ambushed by the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly. If Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder were in their shoes, the result would not be any different. Don't worry. Bai Qingyuefeng's eyes landed on the 2 colorful dumplings that were struggling and he said calmly, "The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly is only strong in support. It won't be able to kill 2 peak emperors in a short amount of time. As long as we put more pressure on Zhao Feng and the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, the 2 elders will be able to struggle free." Hearing this, the purple-faced old man heaved a sigh of relief. He took a closer look. The two colorful rice dumplings were surging with shocking energy, and the cloud silkworm immortal silk inside them was cracking. It was obvious that the two pinnacle martial monarchs had a chance to break free if they used their full strength. In less than a breath's time, Kachichi! There were cracks on the surface of the two colorful dumplings. The enraged roars of two peak martial emperors came from within. Go! The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's abilities aren't as strong as the rumors say and can threaten mystic light realm's sacred lords. The purple-faced old man cried out in alarm and took the lead to attack Zhao Feng. As long as he exerted more pressure on Zhao Feng, the two peak martial monarchs would be able to break free. Bai Qingyue's eyebrows furrowed. She hesitated for a moment, but she had to follow. She felt that something was wrong. The speed at which the two peak martial emperors were struggling was faster than she had expected. According to the rumors, it should be very easy for the cloud silkworm immortal butterfly to trap a few great emperors. Apparently, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had once participated in killing a mystic light realm's sacred Yao. Perhaps it was because this cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was still weak and couldn't unleash its full power. Kachichi! The two great sovereigns were about to break free from the colorful rice dumpling. Kill! At the same time, the purple-faced elder and Bai Qingyue charged toward Zhao Feng. In the distance, the silver-haired elder and the other experts from the Duke's palace felt their hearts rise to their throats. Everyone couldn't help but sigh. Even if Zhao Feng was able to control the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly, it wasn't enough to fight against 5 peak emperors. Furthermore, demonic Emperor Xian Luo was about to arrive as well. At this critical moment, a solemn expression appeared on Zhao Feng's calm face. Success or failure will depend on this. Zhao Feng suddenly waved his hand, and the transparent wings of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly in front of him started to flutter. Those who paid attention would realize that the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly didn't bother with the two peak emperors anymore. Zhao Feng didn't seem to have any intentions of killing the two peak emperors. At this moment, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly quickly fluttered its wings, and a wave of half-transparent pollen formed a whirlwind that swept across several hundred yards. Watch out! It's the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's dream pollen. Bai Qingyue was already slightly wary and puzzled as she advanced. When the colorful pollen whirlwind swept over, her heart jumped. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's support wasn't limited to its silk. The pollen it released was even more unique. The purple-faced elder and Bai Qingyue were unable to dodge and were enveloped by the dream pollen whirlwind. Bai Qingyue's reaction was a bit faster, and a layer of crystal-like moonlight appeared around her body. It was like a natural barrier that blocked off her ears, nose, and other organs. However, even then, Bai Qingyue's body felt soft the instant the dream pollen swept over her, and she instinctively stopped moving forward. Bai Qingyue didn't know that her hesitation and stopping now had changed her fate. Not good. My true Yuan. The purple-faced elder was at the front and was hit by the dream pollen, and he had to face the core of the pollen. His body instantly became limp, and he started to lose control of his true Yuan and bloodline as panic appeared on his face. Being a peak emperor, he wouldn't be truly defeated even if he used his true Yuan's secret technique, but his strength, especially his mobility, would drop by more than a level. The unique ability of this dream pollen can pass through both the physical and soul dimension. It's even effective against mystic light realm's sacred lords. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face as he nodded his head. Since he dared to fight against 5 peak kings, he obviously had something he could rely on. At this moment, the power of the dream pollen had caused the strength of the 2 peak emperors to drop by half a level and 1 level respectively. The purple-faced elder froze as cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He was trying his best to resist the power of the dream pollen and was unable to attack Zhao Feng. Crack, crack. Right at this moment, cracks started to appear on the surface of the 2 colorful rice dumplings, and the heads of the 2 peak emperors could be seen. These 2 peak emperors were about to break free with their full power, and their expressions were green and filled with hatred. As soon as they broke free, they would attack Zhao Feng with all their might. Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder, who were affected by the dream pollen, saw a glimmer of hope in their eyes. Hee, The moment you break out of your cocoons will be the beginning of your new life. Zhao Feng laughed instead of being surprised. The youth's light laughter made Bai Qingyue's heart drop. From the beginning to the end, the purple-haired youth was calm and composed, standing at an unfathomable level. This was exactly what the report said about him. Shua. Weng thweng thweng, Zhao Feng suddenly waved his hand, and the buzzing sound of honey sounded in his ears. That's... Bai Qingyue's heart shook as she saw a total of 8 colorful bees appear from Zhao Feng's arm. The aura from each bee was comparable to a king, and some were even comparable to a peak-tier king. A terrifying sense of danger was brewing within them. 5 poison bee kings. Watch out. Bai Qingyue seemed to recognize where these bees came from, and her heart went cold. Unfortunately, her warning was too late. The 2 peak emperors used all their strength and barely managed to break out of the multicolored rice dumpling. However, the moment they saw the light of day again was the end of their nightmare. Weng weng weng, shoot shoot shoot, one of the peak emperors was pierced through the heart by 4 burning colorful bees. The 5 poison distinct bees weren't very strong, but their suicidal attacks used their lives and souls as the price, and they had the ability to kill those stronger than them. In theory, each of these bee kings had the ability to kill emperors. For safety, Zhao Feng used 4 bee kings on each of the 2 peak emperors. He did it when they had just broken out of the multicolored cocoons and their defenses were limited. If it was too early, it wouldn't work. This was because the cloud silkworm Saint Silk's toughness and defense were very strong. Normal emperors would find it hard to break through. Shoo-boom! Shoo-boom! In that instant, the bodies of the 2 peak emperors exploded under the suicidal attacks of the 8 burning bee kings. Their flesh and blood turned a sad, multicolored green. This scene stunned Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder. In just the blink of an eye, the 2 peak emperors had died under the attacks of the 8 poison bee kings. This kind of death wasn't grand and spectacular, but rather a death that was caught off guard and inexplicable. The suicidal attacks of the 5 poison distinct bees are suitable for sneak attacks. If the target is on guard, the effect will be greatly reduced. Shock appeared in Zhao Feng's heart. The 2 that had died were both peak emperors. In a one-on-one situation, Zhao Feng would need close to 10 breaths to kill any one of them. Dream pollen? Not good. 5 poison distinct bees. Right at this moment, demonic Emperor Xian Luo, who had turned into a giant flaming figure, flew through the air. He had been a bit slower because he had to deal with the emperors from the Duke's palace. As he was rushing over, he saw the 2 emperors being tied up by the silk and by Qingyue and the other person being attacked by the dream pollen. When he arrived, the 2 peak emperors had already died under the suicidal attacks of the 5 poison distinct bees. All of this happened in just a few breaths. Furthermore, it wasn't over yet. The moment the 8 poison distinct bees completed their mission of mutual destruction, Zhao Feng also took action. Sacred lightning dominating body. Zhao Feng took a step forward, and his body became taller. He released a layer of golden blue lightning, and he looked like a small golden lightning giant. With just one step, Zhao Feng closed in on the purple-faced elder, who had become weak and whose battle power had decreased. Boom! The body of the late stages of the 5th level of the sacred lightning body was like a giant mountain that smashed onto the purple-faced elder's body. What? The purple-faced elder's weak body seemed to be hit by a giant hammer, and he instantly fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Under the influence of the dream pollen, his battle power had decreased by more than 1 level, and he couldn't circulate his true yuan and bloodline as he wished. Illusion Maze Domain. The instant Zhao Feng punched out, the Soul Dao domain made the purple-faced elder fall into despair. Stop! The giant flaming demonic sovereign that demonic Emperor Xian Luo had turned into was too late to stop Zhao Feng. Kaboom! Crack! Zhao Feng didn't stop at all, and he punched the purple-faced elder into pieces. The purple-faced elder didn't even have time to put up a proper defense due to the dream pollen and the illusion maze domain, and he was killed by Zhao Feng with 1 punch. Third slash. In just a few breaths, the 3rd peak emperor had died. Zhao Feng glanced at Bai Qingyue on the other side after killing the purple-faced elder. So, The two elders that were bound by the silk were just bait. Zhao Feng's goal was to kill all four of us in one fell swoop. Bai Qingyue took in a cold breath. Zhao Feng's first ambush and second ambush were all done to kill the four peak emperors that had arrived first. At this moment in time, Bai Qingyue's body went cold under Zhao Feng's gaze. She suddenly realized that she was also the target of Zhao Feng's second ambush. Could it be that Zhao Feng had forgotten about her? The answer was soon revealed. Meow. A silver-gray streak flashed behind Bai Qingyue the moment Zhao Feng finished killing. Shua. A dagger that was as dark as a shadow stabbed into Bai Qingyue's back, and blood splattered everywhere. Chapter 888. You. Bai Qingyue's body froze as she looked at Zhao Feng, who had a smile that wasn't a smile. In just a few breaths, Zhao Feng's ambushes had caused the deaths of 3 peak emperors. After Zhao Feng killed the purple-faced elder, Bai Qingyue was also ambushed. The dagger on her back was made of a special material that contained the profound laws of the Tao of assassination. It pierced through her back. A numbing sensation spread across Bai Qingyue's body. At that instant, she was like a petrified moonlight beauty. It was as if she was choking and couldn't say anything. The little thieving cat's shadow kill imperial dagger had been strengthened in the Heaven's Legacy ancient city, and it had a rare numbing effect. However, at this moment, the scene of Zhao Feng killing the 3 peak emperors appeared in Bai Qingyue's mind. The first ambush, Zhao Feng was in a very weak situation, and he used the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to trap 2 peak emperors. In reality, if the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly used its full power, the 2 peak emperors wouldn't be able to escape in a short amount of time, even if the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly wasn't at its peak state. After that, Zhao Feng let the 2 peak emperors struggle. They were about to break free, and he used them as bait to lure the other 2 peak emperors. In order to save the 2 emperors, Bai Qingyue and the purple-faced elder charged in to pressure Zhao Feng. However, at this moment, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly used its dream pollen to weaken the battle between the two. In the second ambush, the purple-faced old man was completely hit and directly killed. Bai Qingyue was prepared and was half a step behind. She wasn't hit too deeply, so she barely managed to survive. Shua. When the little thieving cat's shadow kill imperial dagger stabbed into Bai Qingyue's body, she barely managed to add a layer of moonlight to her organs. However, her battle power had been reduced by half a level, and she had been hit by the shadow kill imperial dagger, so she was still injured. One bam! Bai Qingyue harumphed, and layers of moonlight shot out from her body, pushing away the shadow kill imperial dagger and the little thieving cat that were stabbing into her body. However, this made her injuries worse, and she started to sweat. Meow meow. The little thieving cat flipped in the air and landed on Zhao Feng's arm. You're already doing quite well. Zhao Feng waved his hand and put the little thieving cat into the misty spatial world. The little thieving cat wasn't good at fighting head-on, and the black-robed female, Bai Qingyue, was indeed very cautious. Adding on the fact that she had the strength of a peak emperor, the little thieving cat couldn't fight head-on. Zhao Feng's original goal was to kill 3 to 4 peak martial emperors before demonic emperor Xian Luo arrived. His perfect goal was to kill the 4 great emperors. However, in Zhao Feng's plan, he had to take out at least 2 peak emperors. At this moment, 3 of the 4 peak martial monarchs had died, and one of them was severely injured. Junior, you actually used despicable means to kill 3 elders of my 9 nether palace. Demon Emperor Xian Luo, who had rushed to the scene, let out a low roar in shock. Everything happened too quickly. Within the Duke's palace, the silver-haired elder and the other Void God Realm experts were all dazed. In just a few breaths, Zhao Feng had used various methods to kill 3 peak emperors and severely injure one. At this moment, only demonic Emperor Xian Luo still had his battle power intact out of the 5 peak emperors that surrounded Zhao Feng. This demonic Emperor Xian Luo's strength should be on the same level as the Emperor of Death. Even if he's slightly stronger, it's not that obvious. Zhao Feng remained calm as he inspected this unrivaled emperor. From a certain perspective, Demon Emperor Xian Luo could be considered to have the battle power of a half-step sacred lord. However, There was no such thing as a half-step sacred lord in terms of cultivation. This was because the main difference between the mystic light realm and true yuan was the physical level. Either they failed, or they turned from a snake to a dragon. In front of a ruined building, Zhao Feng and Demon Emperor Xian Luo faced each other. They were only a couple dozen yards apart. Demon Emperor Xian Luo's dark flaming demonic sovereign was more than a dozen stories tall, and a layer of demonic flames covered half the sky behind him. In the entire Duke's palace, only the aura of sacred power used to break through to the mystic light realm could suppress Demon Emperor Xian Luo. Even with the sacred lightning body, Zhao Feng was only a small golden lightning giant that was 6 yards tall. In front of Demon Emperor Xian Luo's sacred demon spirit body, there was a certain difference in terms of aura. However, this difference in size didn't give Demon Emperor Xian Luo much confidence. His flaming body floated in the air, but he didn't dare to attack. Instead, wariness and caution appeared in his eyes. Before this, he had watched 3 peak emperors die to Zhao Feng's schemes. The hearts of the void god realm spectators within the Duke's palace jumped, and they held their breaths. The purple-haired youth, who was originally at a disadvantage, instantly killed 3 peak emperors and severely injured the 4th. And now, this king-level youth was facing off against Demon Emperor Xian Luo, who was said to be unrivaled amongst emperors. Demon Emperor Xian Luo, do you dare to fight? Zhao Feng suddenly spoke, and the physical force radiating from his sacred lightning body started to condense. Over the past few months, his sacred lightning body's cultivation speed had been very slow, but facing such a strong opponent, it was slightly stimulated. Indeed. After recovering his strength, Zhao Feng hadn't sparred with a decent opponent, especially a strong one. Lord Protector, don't fight. Zhao Feng has many methods, and he has the help of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly. On top of that, there are other emperors within the Duke's palace. Bai Qingyue immediately messaged with an urgent expression. She was heavily injured, and her battle power was greatly reduced. She was constantly on guard against attacks from Zhao Feng's side. Right now, she wasn't thinking about how to kill Zhao Feng, but how to escape. Bai Qingyue's only chance to escape was to team up with Demon Emperor Xian Luo and charge out. Retreat? I've never lost in such a stupid way before. Demon Emperor Xian Luo's expression became grim. His strength and pride wouldn't allow him to admit defeat to a youth so easily. Even if that youth was the left-eyed heavenly emperor that had come from the Tsang Ocean, even if he was going to run, he had to prove himself and show his opponent what he was capable of. Do you dare to fight? Zhao Feng roared as he circulated his sacred lightning force to the maximum, and his golden blue body started to expand. Boom! A blood-red light that could cover up the sun suddenly erupted from Zhao Feng's body, and he instantly punched Demon Emperor Xian Luo with the help of his sacred lightning force. The speed and explosive power of the attack made Bai Qingyue click her tongue. Even Demon Emperor Xian Luo was caught off guard. No one would have thought that this youth would dare to attack an unrivaled emperor so domineeringly. A cold light shot out of Demon Emperor Xian Luo's hollow eyes, and his body was bathed in black flames that created a forbidden black ripple. He didn't retreat or advance. He stood where he was and used his demonic spirit body to take Zhao Feng's attack head-on. Kaboom! The sound of mountains collapsing and the ground cracking covered Demon Emperor Xian Luo's giant flaming spirit body. The terrifying physical force of Zhao Feng's punch and the explosive power of the Blood Devil Sun bloodline caused Demon Emperor Xian Luo's expression to change dramatically, and his body shook. In an instant, a layer of rampaging Blood Sun flame qi ignited and covered the body of Demon Emperor Xian Luo, wanting to spread throughout his body. Demon Emperor Xian Luo's expression became grim, and the flames on his body surged and instantly engulfed the flames on the surface. The sacred demon giant spirit body that he cultivated was formed from limitless dark flames, and it countered the Blood Devil Sun bloodline. What disgusted him the most was that Zhao Feng's punch seemed to suck out some of his essence, energy, and blood. Bam! Zhao Feng was also pushed back by the forbidden black ripple around Demon Emperor Xian Luo's body. Immortal body! Zhao Feng stared at Demon Emperor Xian Luo's flaming body. The large hole that he had created in Demon Emperor Xianluo's body instantly healed. In other words, Zhao Feng's punch just now didn't pose any real threat to Demon Emperor Xianluo. Not only that, Zhao Feng found that his Blood Devil Sun bloodline countered his opponent's bloodline. The Blood Devil Sun bloodline's blood-sucking abilities were also greatly reduced. This Demon Emperor Xianluo's sacred demon giant spirit body is even stronger and unique than the Emperor of Death's immortal death body. Zhao Feng's pupils contracted. In the past, the Emperor of Death had lost to him mainly because his soul eye bloodline techniques were countered by Zhao Feng. However, this Demon Emperor Xianluo was undoubtedly stronger in a head-on fight. Kneel! Demon Emperor Xianluo roared coldly as he waved his hand, and the flaming shadow behind him started to shine with a black light. Shua! In an instant, a giant flaming shadow hand seemed to descend from the sky and press down on Zhao Feng's body with a demonic and fiery aura. The power of that palm could shake heaven and earth, and its intent was extremely profound. The space around Zhao Feng seemed to be locked down, similar to the sky-locking bow. Unknowingly, the space around Zhao Feng was locked down by the flaming shadow. One had to admit that Demon Emperor Xianluo's techniques, intent, body, and soul had all reached the peak of the Void God realm. In some aspects, he had even reached the Mystic Light realm. Demon Emperor Xianluo's mastery of his techniques and secret techniques had reached the peak. His foundation was extremely deep. Zhao Feng started to feel tired. This was something that would only happen when he met a strong opponent. It wasn't too hard for him to defeat Demon Emperor Xianluo. All he needed to do was use the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly's help and use his Eye Bloodline and God Tribulation Lightning. However, Zhao Feng also wanted to fight with this demonic Dao powerhouse. Sacred Lightning Protection. Zhao Feng merged the power of Wind Lightning and the physical force of his Sacred Lightning physical force, and an ancient barrier of lightning formed around him. Golden lightning flashed as the sound of wind and lightning boomed. Boom! Wang! The flaming shadow hand landed on Zhao Feng's body, but it was blocked by the Sacred Lightning Protection, and lightning flashed. On top of that, crack! Dazzling golden lightning patterns shot out from the surface of the quaint lightning barrier, and it blasted apart the monstrous flaming shadow hand. The fusion of physical force and sacred lightning? What kind of defensive technique is this? Demon Emperor Xianluo's heart shook. His profound and dominating attack didn't do anything, and it was even countered by Zhao Feng's Sacred Lightning Protection. A flaming hand. Boom! Although the power between Zhao Feng and Demon Emperor Xianluo was extremely condensed, there was still a large crater with a radius of 1,000 yards. Chapter 889. Boom! The area where Zhao Feng and Demonic Emperor Xianluo fought was only a few dozen yards wide, but the entire Duke's Palace started to shake. If it wasn't for the fact that the materials used to build the Duke's Palace weren't ordinary and were close to 3-star sects, it would have collapsed long ago. However, even then, the hearts of the experts within the Duke's Palace shook as they carefully pulled away. The silver-haired elder, who was a peak emperor, helped to disperse the shockwaves and disperse the weaker people. Sacred Lightning Dominating Fist. The sound of bones cracking sounded from Zhao Feng's Sacred Lightning body, and his fists started to move in a weird rhythm as he unleashed punches after punches. Boom, boom, boom. With the naked eye, one could see giant fists made of golden lightning, and they were like mountains made of metal. Every time they charged forward, it was as if the sun was burning the sky. The intent of this fist and the body-strengthening style are similar to the legendary Golden Kuan's Sacred Lightning body. Demonic Emperor Xianluo's giant burning demon spirit body started to shake under Zhao Feng's attacks, and the flaming giant burning demon spirit body started to explode. After using the Sacred Lightning dominating fist, Zhao Feng's punches became more organized. Each of his punches contained the profound intent of the dominating fist, and he could use force to crush everything. At this moment, Zhao Feng's fighting style was similar to the child demigod. In terms of a sacred body, Zhao Feng was only stronger than the child demigod back then. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's Sacred Lightning body contained the element of lightning, and it was stronger when cultivated with the 5-elemental wind lightning technique. The difference between Zhao Feng and the child demigod was in the usage of physical force and the intent of the sacred lightning dominating fist. However, Zhao Feng had the mutated blood devil sun bloodline, and the explosive power he could unleash made his battle power increase by 1 or 2 levels. Zhao Feng's holy lightning dominating fist was dazzling like a blazing sun. It was as if he had transformed into a primordial god of war that crushed everything in his path. Even someone as strong as Demon Emperor Xian Luo was suppressed for a short period of time as he clashed with Zhao Feng. At the center of the collision, shockwaves swept in all directions, wreaking havoc in half of the Duke's mansion. Sky-burning demon sword. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's giant flaming spirit body split out a gigantic sword of dark flames. He no longer engaged in a physical battle with Zhao Feng. In physical combat, no one was a match for a body cultivator. On top of that, Zhao Feng's holy lightning physique was far more powerful than the original Golden Kuin's sacred body. Wings of Tempest. Zhao Feng's body was covered in dazzling golden lightning, and a pair of gigantic wind thunder wings extended from his back. His power and agility were further enhanced. Bang! Clang! Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's gigantic sword of dark flames landed on Zhao Feng's body, but it was pushed away by the latter's golden lightning and fists. Boom! The gigantic wings of Tempest on Zhao Feng's back fluttered and created a tornado of wind and lightning that turned everything it passed into ashes. Boom! The buildings of the Duke's mansion were turned into ashes one by one. Although Zhao Feng and Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's battle was moving away from the ground and into the air, the two were fighting fiercely, and their destructive power became stronger and stronger. In the end, they could easily destroy 1-star or 2-star forces. Zhao Feng stopped. The silver-haired emperor and the others worked together to dissolve the shockwaves, but some of the arrays of the Duke's mansion had already been torn apart. It is always easier to destroy than to repair. All the reports underestimated Zhao Feng. Just how strong is the left-eyed heavenly emperor? Bai Qingyue's cold body endured the shockwaves of the battle. She wanted to find a chance to escape, but the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly had its eyes on her. Bush. Rings of silk forced Bai Qingyue, whose limbs were numb and weak, to the point where she was in danger. Some silk would wrap around her body, and when she finally managed to get rid of it, more cloud silkworm Saint Silk would wrap around her. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's emerald eyes had an innocent and playful look. It was as if it was just playing around without Zhao Feng's orders. Otherwise, Bai Qingyue, whose battle power had decreased, would have been turned into a multicolored dumpling already. Protector, if we don't run now, we won't have another chance. Bai Qingyue was in a lot of pain, so she quickly sent a message. Meow meow. Right at this moment, a voice that made her heart go cold sounded from behind her. The little thieving cat had a playful expression as it scratched the dark gold necklace on its neck. Wang, the dark gold necklace on his neck suddenly transformed into a lifelike dark gold dragon snake whip. As he swung it, it created numerous golden dragon shadows, and a wave of terrifying dragon roars could be faintly heard. Every time this dark golden dragon snake whip swung, it would create an invisible force that suppressed one's blood and true yuan. It was as if a true dragon had possessed one's body. This whip was a part of the golden skeleton in the ancient ruins of the divine illusion dimension. Even Nan Gongxing's nose ring was from the golden skeleton. The owner of the golden skeleton was at least a mystic light realm sacred lord in his previous life, and they might even be close to the demigod level. Arg! Bai Qingyue was caught in the middle, and her dark green robe was ripped apart by the little thieving cat's golden dragon, revealing a pair of snow-white and red legs. Bai Qingyue felt a burning sensation on her legs as the little thieving cat's dark golden dragon snake whip wrapped around her. Her body froze for a moment, then a multicolored silk wrapped around her lower body tightly. In just 1 or 2 breaths, Bai Qingyue was wrapped up into a multicolored cocoon. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped onto the multicolored cocoon, and the dark golden whip in its hand quickly turned back into a thin necklace that returned to its neck. Hoopa! The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly flew onto the little thieving cat's neck and rubbed its chubby body against it. After the two beasts teamed up and captured a peak female emperor, they looked curiously at the battle between Zhao Feng and demonic Emperor Xian Luo. Not good. Bai Qingyue has been captured. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo's heart went cold. He was the only one left of the 5 peak emperors. He was filled with regret, but there was nothing he could do. Right at this moment, the silver-haired elder, a peak emperor, finally couldn't endure the damage that Zhao Feng and Bai Qingyue had done to the duke's palace and charged over. The addition of a peak emperor would definitely affect the battle between Zhao Feng and demonic Emperor Xian Luo. Furthermore, demonic Emperor Xian Luo still had to be wary of the 2 seemingly innocent and cute spiritual pets. These 2 spiritual pets had captured Bai Qingyue, a peak emperor, as if they were playing around. This made demonic Emperor Xian Luo's heart sink. Just Zhao Feng alone would be able to fight against him for a short period of time. He was a strong opponent that couldn't be ignored. Furthermore, there were so many other factors that could threaten him. Today's battle is over. Left-eyed Heavenly Emperor, I've experienced your strength. Demon Emperor Xian Luo's expression was gloomy and filled with resentment and unwillingness. His giant spirit body of flames suddenly transformed into a gray cloud of flames, and with a swish, it instantly merged into the distant horizon and disappeared in a flash. So fast, Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. The speed of demonic Emperor Xian Luo's secret technique was probably close to the Wind Lightning Emperor's level. Although this battle was short, Zhao Feng had expended a lot of his true yuan. For a short period of time, he could fight against demonic Emperor Xian Luo head-on, but as time went on, it would become more and more difficult. This was a gap brought about by cultivation, mastery of cultivation techniques, and strength. For example, demonic Emperor Xian Luo's giant flaming demon spirit body had the nature of an immortal body. Even Zhao Feng's ferocious attacks weren't able to do any actual damage to him. My sacred lightning body also cultivates the undying sacred lightning body. However, the cultivation of the undying body is a long process, and it can't be completed quickly. Only a few great emperors with deep foundations, special bloodlines, or great fortuitous encounters can cultivate a true indestructible body. Zhao Feng analyzed where he was lacking. Luckily, Zhao Feng had cultivated the sacred lightning protection, which was a powerful defensive technique that combined the wind lightning technique and the sacred lightning body. Demonic Emperor Xian Luo couldn't do anything to him in a head-on clash. Otherwise, even if their battle power was the same, Zhao Feng would be injured, while demonic Emperor Xian Luo wouldn't be affected much. Of course, if it was a battle of life and death without any rules, Zhao Feng's chance of winning would be higher. After all, his advantage lay in his speed and God's spiritual eye. Little friend Zhao, if you keep fighting, the noble palace will be destroyed. How will His Highness break through then? The silver-haired elder, a peak emperor, smiled bitterly. His expression was complicated. If they knew that Zhao Feng was so strong, they wouldn't have lost an emperor for nothing. Duke Nanfeng? Zhao Feng suddenly thought of something and looked at the twisting purple and gold whirlpool above the duke's palace. One boom. The huge purplish-golden whirlpool shook violently, and the brilliant holy light that illuminated the heavens and earth dimmed by more than half. The aura that was almost at the level of a sacred lord started to shake. Wait. Zhao Feng's expression changed dramatically. This situation wasn't normal. He realized that everyone had forgotten something because of the 5 peak emperors from 9 Darkness Palace. Right now, the main character of the Duke's Palace was Duke Nanfeng, who was trying to break through to the mystic light realm. The silver-haired elder, the 3 emperors, and even Zhao Feng existed to guard this place. There's an assassin. Protect His Highness. The area where Duke Nanfeng was in seclusion was surrounded by a gray shadow. Several kings around Duke Nanfeng's secret chamber were sliced into pieces by the gray shadow before they could even get close. Duke Nanfeng, your path of ascension ends here. A cold voice resounded near the secret chamber. Duke Nanfeng sat cross-legged within the secret chamber. His skin was translucent and glittered with a sacred light. Behind him floated a strange man in the shadow of a black stream. Shua. The male in the black shadow held a dark shadow sword that was similar to the Shadow Kill Imperial dagger and stabbed it into Duke Nanfeng's back. What? Duke Nanfeng's body froze, and he spat out a mouthful of blood with a pale white face. His face was aghast as he gazed at this incomparably tyrannical black flow man who resembled a killing god from hell. This male had a thin layer of dark skin, and his body was slender as if he didn't have a skeleton. It was obvious that he was a non-human. The experts in your palace are quite surprising. If it wasn't for those from Nine Darkness Palace, my assassination mission wouldn't have been completed so smoothly. The male in the black shadow pulled out the dark shadow sword with a whoosh. Duke Nanfeng gave a deep groan as his body shook. The weird thing was that the wound on his body didn't bleed. Instead, it gave off a stinky gray smoke. Chapter 890. Go and save Duke Nanfeng. The silver-haired elder and company were filled with panic and regret as they charged toward where Duke Nanfeng was in seclusion. Earlier, 5 peak emperors from Nine Darkness Palace had appeared, and everyone had forgotten about Duke Nanfeng, who was trying to break through to the mystic light realm. No one expected that there would be another assassin targeting Duke Nanfeng apart from demonic Emperor Xian Luo. There's no time. Zhao Feng's left eye contracted as he saw what was happening in the underground secret chamber, and his heart jumped. At this moment, the mysterious male in the black shadow pulled out the dark shadow sword from Duke Nanfeng's body and increased the damage. Duke Nanfeng's wound didn't bleed, but it gave off a smelly gray-black smoke. It was obvious that there was a rare lethal poison smeared on the sword. Zhao Feng felt guilty and regretful. Duke Nanfeng had told him some things before entering seclusion, and he had given him the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly to take care of and protect. In reality, Duke Nanfeng had introduced Zhao Feng to the silver-haired elder and the other 2 emperors so that they could guard the Duke's palace together and prevent any accidents from happening. Under normal situations, no one from any force would dare to attack Duke Nanfeng openly. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. This what if finally happened. Within the underground secret chamber, you're the 29th ranked assassin of Black Screen Corner, Supreme Emperor Dark Knight. Duke Nanfeng's body started to sway. His face was pale white, and his eyes were filled with despair and bitterness. That's right, I'm Supreme Emperor Dark Knight, but I'm ranked 25th right now. Half a month ago, I participated in the assassination of a severely injured Mystic Light Realm Sacred Lord and increased my ranking. The male in the black shadow smiled proudly and was extremely confident. He seemed to already have victory in his grasp. After pulling out the rippling dark shadow sword, he glanced in Zhao Feng's direction with interest. Zhao Feng felt an inexplicable coldness and danger from that gaze. Capture the assassin. The silver-haired elder and the other emperor arrived first and charged into Duke Nanfeng's secret chamber. However, before they could do anything, the attack arrived. Boom! A translucent ball of dark purple flame with the aura of destruction tribulation lightning whizzed over and bombarded Supreme Emperor Dark Knight. Ah! The black-shadowed man screamed miserably as his body shattered into pieces. Such a powerful eye flame secret technique. The silver-haired old man and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. They could not help looking at Zhao Feng, who had yet to arrive. The eye flame just now had given the 2 martial monarchs a suffocating pressure. Wind lightning eye flame. Zhao Feng's expression changed after his left eye finished its attack. The pressure that Supreme Emperor Dark Knight gave him was even greater than Demon Emperor Xian Luo, so how could he be killed so easily? In the sky far away from the Duke's mansion, a man with dark bat wings on his back appeared. His entire body was shrouded in the shadows of black streams, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. Supreme Emperor Dark Knight. Inside the Marquis's mansion, the silver-haired elder and the other experts who had missed their target were shocked. Almost no one could tell when Supreme Emperor Dark Knight finished his attack or when he retreated unscathed. This Supreme Emperor Dark Knight cultivates the 8-winged Dark Shadow Doppelganger, a sacred bloodline technique. His doppelganger and his main body can overlap, and each doppelganger has 30 to 40% of the main body strength. Maybe the one that just appeared is his doppelganger. Duke Nanfeng coughed, and his face became paler. It was obvious that he knew about Supreme Emperor Dark Knight. Jia, as expected of the left-eyed Heavenly Emperor, whose name shakes the Tsang Ocean. You're also on the Black Screen Corner assassination rankings. Maybe my next target will be you. The bat-winged Supreme Emperor Dark Knight inspected Zhao Feng with a playful expression. The black-shadowed figure flashed, and the bat-winged male merged into the sky and disappeared. In terms of speed, this Supreme Emperor Dark Knight wasn't any slower than Zhao Feng when he was at his peak. In terms of weirdness, he seemed to be even stronger. What a terrifying assassin. What kind of existence is Black Screen Corner? Zhao Feng had a solemn expression. Although Supreme Emperor Dark Knight wasn't a mystic light realm sacred lord, his technique and bloodline had both reached the limit of a peak emperor, and his battle power was comparable to a quasi-sacred lord. Apart from that, there was something else that was suspicious. Why did Supreme Emperor Dark Knight leave after one attack and not kill Duke Nanfeng? This Supreme Emperor Dark Knight is a top-tier assassin of Black Screen Corner, and he always leaves after one attack. My guess is that his mission this time was to stop me from breaking through to the mystic light realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left me alive. Duke Nanfeng sighed. Duke, are you all right? The experts and guards of the Duke's palace all rushed over and started to question themselves. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as he looked at Duke Nanfeng's wound. I'm in a situation where I'm about to die. Maybe I need to make some final arrangements. Duke Nanfeng smiled bitterly as his aura became weaker. The hearts of everyone present shook, and they revealed expressions of pity. Duke Nanfeng's wound started to fester and expand, and more smelly black smoke rose from his body. Even with Duke Nanfeng's strength, he couldn't stop the poison. I was stabbed by one of the 7 great inheritance sacred weapons of the Tao of Assassination, the Sky Shadow Stabbing Sword, and it contains the black spring poison unique to Black Screen Corner. Very few people below the Mystic Light Realm will be able to block it, unless they cultivate an immortal body and can delay it for a while. Duke Nanfeng's life force started to fade, and his eyes started to become empty. With his god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng found that the poison didn't just target his physical body, it even eroded his soul. Even Zhao Feng felt troubled by the power of this black spring poison. After all, he wasn't a doctor. The rest of the people present were even more unprepared. There were skilled doctors in the Duke's palace, but they couldn't do anything about Duke Nanfeng's injuries. Let me. Zhao Feng stood up, and a freezing pond appeared in his left eye that radiated a bone-chilling coldness. Eye of Ice Soul. A weird soul intent shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye and instantly covered Duke Nanfeng's soul. Duke Nanfeng still had a wisp of consciousness, and he knew that Zhao Feng was helping him, so he didn't block it. See, Duke Nanfeng's soul was soon frozen, and the speed at which the black spring poison corroded his soul decreased dramatically. Zhao Feng's goal was very clear. He wanted to protect Duke Nanfeng's soul. After all, the soul was the core. Without a physical body, Void God Realm kings and emperors could take over someone else's body and even use treasures to reform their body. Next, Zhao Feng calmed down and started to analyze the black spring poison within Duke Nanfeng's body. This black spring poison was extremely unique. It existed between the physical and non-physical. It didn't affect the physical and true yuan, but it had a fatal corrosive effect on life and the soul. After being poisoned by this poison, the physical body and soul of a living being would start to rot or even evaporate. In order to stop the corrosion of the black spring poison, Zhao Feng circulated his ice water bloodline and used the Ice Imperial Seal to slowly seal Duke Nanfeng's body. Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly. Before Duke Nanfeng fainted, he managed to spit out a few blurry words. Zhao Feng couldn't help but understand. The Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly's pollen could be used against enemies, and it also had the ability to neutralize poison. Soon, the little thieving cat and the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly arrived. The Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly was intelligent, and it immediately spat out a pure white pollen that covered Duke Nanfeng's body when it saw that its master was poisoned. Zhao Feng immediately circulated his ice-water bloodline and allowed the white pollen to merge into Duke Nanfeng's body and soul. The pollen of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was effective on both the body and the soul. However, the silk of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly was only effective on physical objects. A while later, Zhao Feng found that the poison on Duke Nanfeng's body was only slightly suppressed. From the looks of it, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly could only slow down Duke Nanfeng's death. Meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paw at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng understood what it meant, and he summoned more than a dozen 5 poison distinct bees from the misty spatial world. The 5 poison distinct bees could collect all kinds of pollen regardless of whether it was poisonous or non-poisonous. Apart from that, the stinger of the 5 poison distinct bees contained a lethal poison. Go! Zhao Feng waved his hand, and the ice turned into a stream of water. The elite 5 poison distinct bees started to collect pollen from Duke Nanfeng's body. A few breaths later, whoosh! One of the 5 poison distinct bees turned into a puddle of black water after a while, and it died on the spot. There seems to be some effect. Zhao Feng revealed a weird expression. The cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly and his ice could only suppress the poison slightly. On the other hand, after one of the 5 poison distinct bees died, Zhao Feng found that the black spring poison within Duke Nanfeng's body seemed to have decreased. This was a fundamental change. After that, the dozen or so 5 poison distinct bees that were collected from Duke Nanfeng's body died one by one. In order to achieve the best effect, Zhao Feng even sent a queen bee and several elite 5 poison distinct bees into Duke Nanfeng's body to collect. Time slowly passed by. The 5 poison distinct bees died one by one, and Duke Nanfeng's expression started to turn for the better. It could be said that this was a life for a life. It was a life for a life, and it was a life for a life. Zhao Feng didn't think that the 5 poison distinct bees' mutual destruction method could be used here. After that, Zhao Feng thought of something and he took out a green water sky lotus from the misty spatial world and plucked a few pure white petals. One bow. There was a gentle white light on the surface of the petal, and Zhao Feng crushed it and turned it into juice, which he fed to Duke Nanfeng. The petals of the green water sky lotus? Duke Nanfeng revealed a joyful expression. He obviously knew a bit about the green water sky lotus's name and effects. The petals of the lotus had too many uses. Not only could it cleanse the body and soul, it could also increase one's state of existence, and it could also get rid of hidden injuries and poisons. After eating the petals, wisps of pure white light appeared in Duke Nanfeng's body and covered his entire body like the petals of a flower. Along with the 5 poison distinct bees' ability to collect poison, the black spring poison within Duke Nanfeng's body was unexpectedly dissolved. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. Only after Duke Nanfeng didn't die did the self-blame in his heart become better. After all, he had attracted 5 peak emperors from 9 Darkness Palace, and Zhao Feng was fighting with demonic Emperor Xian Luo. Otherwise, the resistance of Supreme Lord Dark Knight would greatly increase. Zhao Feng, it's all thanks to you this time. Moreover, you have to be careful as well. You're now a target on Black Screen Corner's assassination list. Duke Nanfeng's eyes stared at Zhao Feng. Finally, his voice disappeared, and he sent a divine sense message. Be careful. It's very likely that Supreme Emperor Dark Knight will come back and assassinate you a second time. Chapter 891. A second assassination attempt? Zhao Feng paused for a moment, then smiled and said fearlessly, I do hope that he'll come back. He had a rough estimate of Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's strength. He was at the same level as Demon Emperor Xian Luo. However, because he was good at assassination, he could kill a great emperor with one strike instead of a head-on battle. However, once Zhao Feng was on guard, his eye bloodline countered this type of assassination. Zhao Feng, don't underestimate Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's strength. He's ranked on the Black Screen Corner assassin rankings. From his ranking, Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's strength is at least that of an unrivaled emperor, and his battle power is close to that of a quasi-sacred lord. Duke Nanfeng shook his head and warned, He had been ambushed by Supreme Emperor Dark Knight while he was in seclusion, so he knew how strong he was. Quasi-Sacred Lord Battle Power? Zhao Feng's eyebrows rose up. He obviously knew that because of the difference in location, the difference in strength between emperors was more strict. In the Ash-Gray Sea, a peak Great Emperor was an unrivaled existence below a holy master. However, in the Lord Dynasty, peak emperors and mystic light realm sacred lords were further divided. In general, the strength of emperors was split into 4 types. The first type were normal emperors, such as Emperor Mu Yun and the Cold Moon Emperor. The second type were peak emperors, such as Duan Muqing. The third type were unrivaled emperors, such as demonic Emperor Xian Luo. There was something worth mentioning. The Emperor of Death was almost at the level of an unrivaled emperor, and some of his forbidden arts even made sacred lords wary. However, the Tsang Ocean didn't have such a detailed classification. However, the Emperor of Death's Eye of Death and Tao of the Soul were countered by Zhao Feng. Even then, Zhao Feng had to chase after the Emperor of Death for a long time and wear him down before finally killing him. If it was a peak emperor, it would only take 10 breaths. If it was an unrivaled emperor that countered Zhao Feng might have been the one to lose. Apart from these 3 emperors, there was another ideal type of battle power, the battle power of a quasi-sacred lord. However, the battle power of a quasi-sacred lord was on the level of a mystic light realm sacred lord. At the very least, they had to be comparable to a mystic light realm sacred lord in terms of power, intent, and other aspects. However, they hadn't completely become a sacred lord yet. Duke Nanfeng had given Supreme Emperor Dark Knight an unrivaled emperor who was close to a quasi-sacred lord. Of course, this was only a division of combat power and had little to do with cultivation. If that's the case, then Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's strength has almost surpassed the Emperor of Death, Great Emperor Xian Luo, and myself. Zhao Feng's eyes flickered. According to the classification of strength, Zhao Feng's strength definitely surpassed the peak martial monarchs. He could be considered an unrivaled martial monarch. After all, he was mainly training his sacred lightning body and sacred lightning dominating fist when he was fighting demonic Emperor Xian Luo, so he didn't use his eye bloodline. One thing was certain. Zhao Feng's strength hadn't reached the level of a quasi-sacred lord. There was a clear difference in soul, power, and intent. This meant that quasi-sacred lords would be a big threat to Zhao Feng. I'm only half a step away from breaking through, but I'm lucky to be alive. As long as I recover from my injuries, I'll have the battle power of a quasi-sacred lord. Duke Nanfeng sighed. Hearing that, Zhao Feng and the silver-haired elder looked over in surprise. Zhao Feng felt that the aura within Duke Nanfeng's body was half a level higher than an emperor's, and the pressure from his gaze also surpassed peak emperors by half a level. This was because Duke Nanfeng was about to successfully break through, but Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's assassination stopped him and almost killed him. Now that he was alive, as long as he recovered from his injuries and recovered his Yuan Qi, he would be comparable to a quasi-sacred lord. Your Highness will definitely have good fortune after surviving such a disaster. The silver-haired elder and company all congratulated him. Only Duke Nanfeng's expression was slightly dim. He had almost succeeded in breaking through to the mystic light realm mainly because of the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly's origin pollen. However, the cloud silkworm Saint Butterfly only produced this origin pollen very few times in its life, and there was a gap of at least 100 years between each time. This meant that he might not be able to break through to the mystic light realm next time. Furthermore, there was a weird rule when trying to break through to the mystic light realm. Once the first attempt failed, the chances of success would become lower and lower. Apparently, this was because the process of breaking through to the mystic light realm would use up some of the origin of one's soul. Once one failed, this origin couldn't be recovered. Any emperor, whether they were normal emperors or peak emperors, would be extremely careful when trying to break through to the mystic light realm. Unless they had no choice or were confident, they wouldn't try it easily. Under such circumstances, peerless treasures that could increase the chances of breaking through to the mystic light realm were extremely rare, and they were enough to make the forces of the Lord dynasties fight over them. Only Zhao Feng noticed the slight change in Duke Nanfeng's expression. I still have 10 portions of the 100 Origins sacred honey. It's best if I can keep 3 for my sacred lightning body and when I try to break through to the mystic light realm. Zhao Feng thought. As his cultivation increased, he felt the value of the 100 Origins sacred honey even more. Back at Xieyang Palace, if it wasn't for the fact that he had the substandard god weapon, the misty spatial world, Zhao Feng wouldn't have dared to try and obtain the Origins sacred honey. However, it was still extremely dangerous to obtain the 100 Origins sacred honey. Within the cultivation chamber, Zhao Feng, the silver-haired elder, and company guarded the Duke for 4 to 5 days. This was the silver-haired old man's suggestion, and it was to guard against Supreme Lord Dark Knight's return. Right now, Duke Nanfeng's injuries hadn't healed yet, and he only had the battle power of a normal emperor, so he needed to be protected. Zhao Feng blamed himself for destroying the Duke's palace to such an extent. Over the last 4 to 5 days, Duke Nanfeng cultivated without any distractions, and his injuries and Yuan Qi recovered quite a bit. During this period of time, Supreme Emperor Dark Knight didn't return. With so many experts gathered together, with Supreme Emperor Dark Knight's principle of killing in one strike, he naturally wouldn't take the risk. Duke, the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly is about to fully recover. Before leaving, Zhao Feng waved his hand and handed the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly to the silver-haired elder. Meow meow. Within the secret chamber, the little thieving cat and the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly rubbed against each other and reluctantly separated. At this moment, a thought appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. Could he trade the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly? However, thinking about it, why would Duke Nanfeng agree to such a precious 10,000 ancient races spiritual pet that could support Duke Nanfeng's heart? Even if he took out the 100 Origins sacred honey, Duke Nanfeng might not agree to it. This was just like how the little thieving cat was in Zhao Feng's heart. The Zhao Feng. Duke Nanfeng looked in the direction that Zhao Feng left in. The Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly in his hand seemed to be very attached to the little thieving cat and Zhao Feng. Duke Nanfeng could also see how attractive the Cloud Silkworm Saint Butterfly was to Zhao Feng. Duke, Black Screen Corner is one of the 3 super organizations of the underground world, and they usually stay neutral. Who hired an assassin to kill you? The silver-haired elder couldn't help but ask. One could imagine that this would definitely involve the imperial court. Even in the Great Qian imperial court, there were many factions and the competition between the factions was centered around a few princes. Right now, there were only a few princes that had the ability to become the crown prince. Thus, a huge faction was born behind them. Before this, I always stayed neutral. The problem is that the 8th prince visited a few days ago, and some people don't want me to become a mystic light realm sacred lord and affect the balance of the imperial court. Duke Nanfeng took a deep breath and furrowed his eyebrows. The factions within the Great Ghan Imperials were extremely complicated, and he couldn't think of anything in a short amount of time. Within the Duke's palace, Zhao Feng moved into a new building that had its own garden, and the environment was even better. Within the building, Zhao Feng waved his arm, and a rainbow-colored dumpling appeared in front of him. It was much more tightly bound than before. The rainbow-colored dumpling seemed to be struggling, but it was very weak. Zhao Feng's left eye saw the beautiful female in dark green robes within the dumpling. In reality, if Zhao Feng really wanted to kill her, this female wouldn't have been able to live until now. However, he purposely wanted to leave her alive so that he could scout out the situation of 9 Darkness Palace. This female in dark green robes didn't match the auras of the other 4 peak emperors of 9 Darkness Palace, which was why Zhao Feng chose to leave her alive. Of course, Zhao Feng wouldn't show any mercy to his enemies. A surge of purple eye bloodline power surged from Zhao Feng's left eye and formed a bottomless whirlpool. A forbidden surge of soul Dao power appeared in the air. Not good. Within the rainbow-colored dumpling, Bai Qingyue's body shook, and her body went cold. Her soul was covered by a cold power and seemed to be locked down. It wasn't under her control and was about to break free. If she was at her peak, she could still fight back. However, she was heavily injured after the battle, mainly due to the effects of the dream pollen. her body and soul became weak and her battle power decreased. In just a breath or two, a female Yuan soul with an extraordinary aura was taken out of her body. No. Bai Qingyue felt that the soul Dao I bloodline power was like the power of a god, and she couldn't resist it. Shua. Bai Qingyue's soul flashed and was sucked into the dimension of Zhao Feng's left eye. After entering the dimension of Zhao Feng's left eye, Bai Qingyue's soul became even more uncontrollable, and she could be controlled by Zhao Feng. Boom, boom, boom. Zhao Feng circulated some of the power of God Tribulation Lightning and attacked Bai Qingyue's soul. Bai Qingyue's soul almost fainted. Dark Heart Seal. A dark purple seal of lightning appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye, and it slowly imprinted itself into the depths of Bai Qingyue's soul along with the aura of God Tribulation Lightning. The reason why he sucked Bai Qingyue's soul into the dimension of his left eye was to increase the success rate of the Dark Heart Seal. After all, the other party was a peak emperor, and her soul intent had reached the peak level. Please. Bai Qingyue's consciousness was on the verge of fainting, and she even thought about self-destructing her soul. Unfortunately, her soul seemed to be locked down in the dimension of his left eye, and she couldn't do anything. Several breaths later, Zhao Feng's Dark Heart Seal successfully imprinted itself into the depths of Bai Qingyue's soul. Shua. With a thought, he sent Bai Qingyue's soul back to her body. Half a day later, Master, my name is Bai Qingyue, and I'm the Pavilion Master of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. I'm responsible for 9 Darkness Palace's intelligence missions around the continent. A calm and elegant female in a palace robe half knelt in front of Zhao Feng. Chapter 892. Master, my name is Bai Qingyue, and I'm the Pavilion Master of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. I'm responsible for 9 Darkness Palace's intelligence missions. The female was surrounded by a layer of moonlight, and her aura was pure and holy. She was like a beauty under the moon. She was one of the 5 emperors that had attacked earlier. No one had expected the beautiful woman kneeling on the ground to be a top martial monarch, or even the leader of a 2-star sect. Ocean Smoke Pavilion? Tell me about it. Zhao Feng revealed a surprised and joyful expression. This Bai Qingyue's identity had exceeded his expectations. She was the beautiful pavilion master of a 2-star sect. She was much younger than some emperors, but she had the battle power of a peak emperor. It was obvious that she had great talent and potential. Bai Qingyue had an obedient and respectful expression as she told Zhao Feng about the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Zhao Feng listened quietly and started to form a plan in his heart. The Ocean Smoke Pavilion had existed for tens of thousands of years, but a long time ago, it wasn't a part of the clans. Instead, it was a specialized intelligence agency. Later on, this intelligence organization had been recruiting members in the coastal areas, gradually growing stronger and evolving into a rising 2-star sect. However, they were unlucky. The Ocean Smoke Pavilion had just risen when they met 9 Darkness Palace, who was trying to expand. 9 Darkness Palace was the leading force of the Great Gon Lord dynasty, and it was once a 4-star sect. It wanted to return to its former glory. A few decades ago, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion was controlled by 9 Darkness Palace and became one of their subordinate forces. There are almost 10 other subordinate forces like the Ocean Smoke Pavilion in 9 Darkness Palace. Bai Qingyue had a reminiscing expression. In reality, after being forced to become a subordinate force of 9 Darkness Palace, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion had a powerful support in the coastal area and became even stronger. Furthermore, the 10,000 Sacred Clan had fallen, and the Ocean Smoke Pavilion had become stronger and was approaching a peak 2-star sect. Hearing the news, Zhao Feng couldn't help but click his tongue. Being the leading force of the demonic Dao, 9 Darkness Palace was still a powerful force even though they weren't a 4-star sect anymore. And a powerful intelligence agency like this was exactly what Zhao Feng needed. How is your control over the Ocean Smoke Pavilion? Zhao Feng asked. With Bai Qingyue's peak emperor battle power, she would definitely be one of the best in a 2-star sect. 9 Nether Palace's focus is on the central and eastern parts of the continent. Therefore, I control 60 to 70% of the Ocean Smoke Pavilion, And there are also some spies and experts of the Nine Darkness Palace in the pavilion. Bai Qingyue revealed a weird expression as she tried to guess Zhao Feng's intentions. At this point, it wasn't hard to guess Zhao Feng's purpose. As someone who was enslaved by the Dark Heart Seal, Bai Qingyue's mind was enslaved and she had to obey it. I want you to return to the Ocean Smoke Pavilion and clean up the tumor of Nine Darkness Palace. From now on, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion will focus on me and serve me. Zhao Feng said indifferently. At this moment, the plan in his heart became clearer. From the beginning of his cultivation until now, Zhao Feng had basically been fighting alone, under the protection of powerful forces. When he was cultivating, Zhao Feng was a disciple of the Zhao family in Sunfeather City. After that, he moved to the Guanjuan Palace and joined the Broken Moon clan with the help of Lord Guanjuan. Then he moved to the Flooding Lake City, Iron Blood Religion, Mystic True Sacred Clan. Even now, Zhao Feng was also a part of the Duke's palace. Due to Duke Nanfeng's special identity, normal forces didn't dare to attack Zhao Feng openly. I can't easily go to the Duanmu family. Furthermore, I've already sent a letter to the Duanmu family, and Yu Fei knows about me. Zhao Feng's eyes were calm. For a long time, he was either being chased or under other forces. But now, he wanted to change his way of thinking and create his own superpower. I want this force to spread across the world and rule the world. In the future, no one will be able to threaten anything related to me. The desire in Zhao Feng's heart became stronger and stronger. Creating a force of his own would be extremely useful. For example, plundering the world's resources and exploring ruins and secret realms could mobilize a vast amount of manpower. Yes, Master. I'll do my best to fulfill your request. However, I can't guarantee that there won't be any resistance in the process. Bai Qingyue said carefully. Through the Dark Heart Seal, she could sense Zhao Feng's ambition. I'll go with you to the Ocean Smoke Pavilion and get rid of all the problems. Although Nine Darkness Palace is strong, they won't be able to send too many forces to interfere with the ocean. Zhao Feng was extremely confident. The ocean he was in wasn't the core of the Lord dynasty. In other words, it wasn't. Zhao Feng hadn't even stepped into the inner regions of the continent yet. Hearing that, Bai Qingyue relaxed a lot. With Zhao Feng as a deterrent, as long as Mystic Light Realm's sacred lords didn't appear, no force would be able to threaten the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Zhao Feng didn't immediately go to the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. Instead, he cultivated for a while in the Duke's palace. Firstly, Bai Qingyue and Duke Nanfeng's injuries hadn't healed yet. Secondly, Zhao Feng had gained some insights from the battle and needed to consolidate them. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. Within the secret room of the building, Zhao Feng suddenly opened his eyes, and the divine light in his eyes gave off the feeling that 10,000 bolts of lightning were exploding. More than 1,000 symbols of God Tribulation lightning appeared in his purple soul sea. More accurately speaking, there were more than 1,300. These symbols of God Tribulation lightning gave off an undying aura that countered everything in existence. Very good. The amount of God Tribulation lightning is more than half of what it was in my previous life, and my control over this power is better. A faint smile formed on Zhao Feng's face. Of course. What Zhao Feng absorbed was just the remnant aura of the God Tribulation lightning and comprehended it. Compared to true God Tribulation lightning, these were just small particles, and the total amount might not even be 1% of the God Tribulation lightning. After all, the God Tribulation head was just a vessel that had been stored for many years. It was already a miracle that Zhao Feng's soul could absorb the God Tribulation lightning. At this moment in time, the God Tribulation head next to the Purple Soul Sea still had around 50% of the God Tribulation lightning left. Now, Zhao Feng didn't just need to absorb the God Tribulation lightning. He also needed to comprehend and increase the recovery speed of the God Tribulation lightning. He even needed to reach a level where he could condense God Tribulation lightning on his own. After half a month of cultivation, Zhao Feng finally came out of seclusion. At this moment, Duke Nanfeng's injuries had mostly recovered. Although he had failed to break through to the Mystic Light Realm, his strength was more than twice as strong as before. After bidding farewell, Zhao Feng flew into the air. Strange, what business does this Zhao Feng have that requires him to leave? Is he not scared of 9 Darkness Palace chasing after him? Duke Nanfeng was slightly surprised. However, thinking about it, with Zhao Feng's strength, as long as he didn't meet a mystic light realm's sacred lord, he shouldn't be in any danger. A while later, Zhao Feng flew out of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone and entered the limitless ocean. Shua. Zhao Feng raised his hand and let Bai Qingyue come out of the misty spatial world. At the same time, he took out the flaming chariot that he had obtained from the divine illusion dimension. The flaming chariot's speed was even faster in an environment like the limitless ocean. With the substandard god crystals, it could reach the speed of an emperor. Most importantly, this chariot didn't need any true yuan, and it was very stable. It could also form a protective barrier. Bai Qingyue stood on the chariot and controlled it. She had a look of amazement on her face. She had stayed in Zhao Feng's misty spatial world for a while and was stunned. She didn't expect Zhao Feng to have a substandard god weapon and have so many resources. Maybe the resources that she had seen were only a portion of what Zhao Feng had. If I can take out a portion of these resources, the Ocean Smoke Pavilion will be able to expand quickly and even have the potential to rule the entire ocean. Bai Qingyue took a deep breath. Although she had been enslaved by Zhao Feng, she still had her own thoughts. She was just controlled by Zhao Feng. The Dark Heart Seal had become more and more perfect after several modifications. Of course, in order to unleash such a perfect Dark Heart Seal, one had to use the god's spiritual eye as a medium. Normal secret techniques couldn't do it, or one would have to pay a huge price. On the way, Zhao Feng was still sitting down and cultivating, and he let Bai Qingyue lead the way. The ocean was connected to the Nanlin Sea, Shiwu Sea, Dongchuan Sea, and other limitless ocean zones. It was extremely big. With the flaming chariot speed, it would take half a month to get there. During this half a month, Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and multitasked. He had always been cultivating the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. On a certain day, Zhao Feng's wood of wind lightning reached the peak of the 7th level. Next would be the fire of wind lightning, which was a powerful offensive fire lightning. The fire of wind lightning that Zhao Feng cultivated in his previous life had greatly improved, and it had even surpassed the wind lightning emperor. The 7th level of the wood of wind lightning corresponds to the void god realm. From the 8th level onwards, the fire of wind lightning should be the transition from emperor to quasi-sacred lord and mystic light realm. Zhao Feng could clearly feel that his wood of wind lightning had reached a limit. Several more days passed. Zhao Feng's aura rose once more, and it started to increase slightly. Middle stage void god realm. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Breaking through to the middle stage void god realm at this point in time was within expectations. At this rate, he would become a complete great emperor in half a year's time. In his previous life in the Tsang Ocean, Zhao Feng's cultivation stopped at the middle stage void god realm. Zhao Feng's cultivation had recovered to the middle stage void god realm, and it could be said that he had completely surpassed his previous life. In terms of cultivation, Zhao Feng's technique was stronger and more comprehensive. Zhao Feng's biggest trump card, the power of the god Tribulation Lightning, had also surpassed his previous life in terms of power. After being refined by the god Tribulation Lightning, his soul was on par with his previous life, and it was even more condensed than his previous life. As for Emperor Intent, because it contained even more god Tribulation Lightning, it had also surpassed his previous life. The only thing that hadn't improved was the god's spiritual eye. It was regretful that the god's spiritual eye hadn't evolved after so long. According to his past experience, Zhao Feng felt that he was getting closer to the next evolution of the god's spiritual eye. Master, we're almost at the Ocean Smoke Pavilion. A soft voice sounded next to his ear. The speed of the flaming chariot was decreasing. Are we there? Zhao Feng took a deep breath and looked at the misty island in front of him. It was much bigger than the Azure Flower continent. At this moment, he was hopeful and even a little nervous. Whether or not he could achieve his goal of dominating the border would depend on the first step that he was about to take. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.